Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. I, the abandoned son of my family, have awakened double S level powers. Chapter 81. Yi Rongshuan's class teacher was speechless. It was indeed Yi Rongshuan who made the first move and was defeated by Yi Chen with one move. He couldn't say anything. You can't admit that Yi Rongshuan is weak. There are so many people at the door, which is a shame for no one middle school, even if it is already very embarrassing now. He only said that out of anger, but what he was sure of was that Yi Chen definitely hit hard on purpose. Did Yi Chen do it on purpose? Of course he did it on purpose. Yi Chen deliberately didn't take action at the beginning, and waited until Yi Rongshuan's fist was in front of Yi Chen before taking action, not just to show off. If he had counterattacked from the beginning, the teacher in number one middle school would definitely have noticed that Yi Chen's attack was very strong, and then would have blocked it. At most, he would have only received a few words from others, with no actual harm. Yi Chen deliberately waited for the attack to come to him before taking action. At this time, the teacher in number one middle school would not be able to react. And from the beginning, they thought Yi Rongshuan was stronger, so they definitely didn't think Yi Chen could avoid Yi Rongshuan's punch. But the fact is that Yi Chen not only avoided it, but also defeated Yi Rongshuan with a whip kick. At this time, the two sides reached a stalemate here, and the atmosphere on the court became intense. At this moment, a middle-aged man wearing glasses stood up. The man's eyes seemed not to be open and he could only see a line. Yi Chen even doubted whether he could see it. The squinting person in front of me is Kai Chen, the principal of No. 1 Middle School. Let's end this matter. Yi Chen, do you want to join our No. 1 Middle School? Kai Chen was not angry at all because Yi Chen injured Yi Rongshuan, but instead invited Yi Chen over. Everyone thought that Kai Chen came out to support him, but they didn't expect that he actually invited Yi Chen. Yi Chen was also surprised. Don't blame me for hurting Yi Rongshuan. He is a student from your number 1 middle school who has a chance to challenge the two majors. Not now, right? I think you have a better chance of entering the two majors. Since you have lost an opportunity, why not find a way to make up for this opportunity? Why are you angry? Kai Chen asked. Yi Chen also put away his previous indifferent attitude. In Yi Chen's eyes, the principal of No. 1 Middle School is a pretty good person. Even if he is not the principal, he is still a person. It's about to be tested now, can it still be changed? Yi Chen was a little confused. Our number 1 Middle School has been strong for so many years, and we still have this privilege. As long as you agree, I can transfer your student status now. Kai Chen, do you really think I have no one in the second grade? At this time, Zhang Ding stood up. He thought Yi Chen was hesitating, but in fact Yi Chen was just curious. Oh, isn't this forward, Zhang Ding? Long time no see. Kai Chen was still smiling, as if nothing could make him fluctuate. Stop talking about this. I don't mind poaching Yi Rongshuan. Now if you want to poach Yi Chen, don't blame me for being shameless. An extremely strong momentum erupted from Zhang Ding's body, and everyone in No. 1 Middle School retreated. Yi Rongshuan was poached before. Although Zhang Ding was angry, there was nothing he could do. As a descendant of the Yi family, there was nothing wrong with Yi Rongshuan returning to No. 1 Middle School where the Yi family had shares. But now he couldn't help poaching Yi Chen. Now Yi Chen was the hope of No. 2 Middle School and had a grudge against the Yi family. Save me some face. I don't think you are qualified yet. Kai Chen opened his eyes slightly, and a stronger momentum burst out. Zhang Ding's pupils shrank. Did you break through? Zhang Ding and Kai Chen are old friends. Zhang Ding has been in the field team for a long time before, and he has some reputation. He is considered to have good combat power among the generals. But Kai Chen has always been secretive, and the strength he has shown is that of a 9th-level military general. Although Zhang Ding is a 7th-level general, he is still very confident in his combat effectiveness, so even if Kai Chen is 2 levels higher than him, he is not afraid. But now that Kai Chen has shown his strength, he is already the king of Wu, and according to a person like Kai Chen who has deep connections in the city, King Wu might be hiding something. Kai Chen's momentum continued to oppress Zhang Ding, and Zhang Ding could only hold on with difficulty. He was now in a difficult position and had to hold on. At this moment, a man wearing the uniform of the Warrior Alliance walked out of the Warrior Alliance building. What are you doing? This is an alliance of warriors, not an arena. If you want to fight, go and fight somewhere else. As soon as the man spoke, a stronger momentum directly interrupted the two of them. It turned out to be Director Li. It was all a misunderstanding. Principal Zhang was just joking with me. Kai Chen returned to his squinting look. HMPH. Zhang Ding snorted coldly and said nothing. He was never Kai Chen's opponent, so he would naturally go down now that there was a step. I don't care what you two are doing, but today is the first day of the martial arts test. I don't want anything to happen to our Warrior Alliance. Li Derong said seriously, then ignored them and returned to the building. Li Derong is the director of the testing department of the Warrior Alliance. He is responsible for the daily warrior testing and college entrance examination candidates testing. His strength is also at the Martial King level. And behind him is the Warrior Alliance, so he is naturally not afraid of the Yi family's number. One middle school behind him. After Li Derong left, Kai Chen said again, Yi Chen, you can consider my proposal. I am sincere. If you turn around, I can give you a complete set of potions that are enough for you to become a warrior, plus a B-level book. Combat skills. Kai Chen thought that Yi Chen had not broken through to become a warrior. Although he could defeat Yi Rongxuan with one move, Yi Chen was just a casual cultivator without background resources, so he never thought that Yi Chen would be a warrior. Kai Chenkai's conditions are already very generous. You should know my relationship with the Yi family. Are you not afraid of the Yi family when you take me in? Yi Chen didn't agree to Kai Chen because of this condition. At this time, Zhang Ding didn't say anything either. The main reason was that his strength was still a bit low and he didn't dare to cause trouble again. Kai Chen calmly replied, you don't have to worry about this. I will mediate it. All you need to do is admit your mistake. I believe no one would want to be enemies with students from the two universities. Yi Chen couldn't help but take another look at Kai Chen. He really couldn't understand how a mere king of martial arts could have such confidence to let the Yi family stop pursuing him. Moreover, he looked very confident. Seeing that Yi Chen didn't speak, Zhang Ding thought that Yi Chen had been persuaded and said quickly, I can give him what he can give. Only then did Yi Chen come back to his senses and said with a smile, no, principal, if I go to no. One middle school, what's the difference between that and Yi Rongxuan? After hearing Yi Chen's words, Zhang Ding breathed a sigh of relief. Principal Kai, I'm sorry, I still like to stick to the same school. Since I have always been in no. 2 middle school, there is no need to change schools at this time. That's really a pity. Since you have already made your decision, I won't say more. I hope you won't regret it. Kai Chen was not angry. After saying this, he turned and left without even looking at Yi Rongxuan on the ground. Yi Rongxuan became even more angry when he saw Kai Chen inviting Yi Chen, and looked at Yi Chen with hatred in his eyes. Make me regret. After the test, it will be actual combat. The resources he gave can't make a person make a big improvement in such a short time. What does this regret mean? Yi Chen was a little confused. He believed that a person like Kai Chen would not say this for no reason. Forget it, the soldiers will come to block it, and the water will come and the soil will cover it. We will see when the time comes. Yi Chen really couldn't figure it out, so he decided not to think about it, and then returned to the square to prepare for the next test. All schools participating in the martial arts physical fitness test will be led by teachers and enter in order. Run Yuan Nang, a staff member of the Warriors Alliance, said loudly. Yi Chen has also returned to the team of No. 2 middle school, and the current test is more important. The team from the first middle school will be tested in front of the second middle school. If it passes the first middle school, it will be the second middle school. Stepping into the warrior building, a strong sense of technology hits your face. The spacious hall is tall and open, as if there are no boundaries, allowing people's vision to extend infinitely. In the center of the hall, a suspended metal sculpture exudes a mysterious light. This sculpture is none other than Li Tianming, the first leader of the Warriors Alliance. In that era when alien beasts appeared and humans died in large numbers, it was he who stood up and blocked the attack of alien beasts with his own strength, and found a place for human beings to survive. A person who has given hope to mankind and truly made the sky brighter for mankind. The surrounding walls are inlaid with huge display screens, which play various information and dynamic images in real time, making people feel like they are in a digital world. The passages inside the building are spacious and bright, with smooth metal floors on the ground that reflect the lights from the ceiling, creating an illusory feel. The internal space of the Warrior building is not only large, but also full of technology, making people feel like they are in the future world. It feels like a real future world, completely different from the place where Yi Chen lived for 18 years, and there is a strong sense of separation. In fact, it is not that these technologies are not used by civilians, but that they represent the top level of mankind, and both the required high-level scientific and technological talents and manufacturing materials are scarce resources. Take the building of the Warrior Alliance as an example. From the outside, it looks like a towering building. But when people actually walk in, they will find that its interior space is very large. This is not only the use of mankind's most advanced space technology, but also because a rare metal called ethereal stone was used in the construction of the entire building. This material only exists on the other side of the disaster door. It not only has spatial properties, but also has extremely high hardness and defense. Therefore, judging from the current situation, these technologies cannot be popularized to the public level for the time being. Perhaps after the level of science and technology is further improved and the cost of materials is reduced, all mankind will have the opportunity to enjoy such a living environment. Under the guidance of the staff, Yi Chen and the others walked through a passage and arrived at a huge square. There are 4 large pillars in the center of this square. Each pillar requires about 3 adults to hug. There are 4 test pillars here, which can test your strength, level, and source energy quality. Testing columns 1 and 2 test students from No. 1 Middle School, testing column number 3 test students from No. 2 Middle School, and testing column number 4 test students from No. 3 Middle School and other schools. It's not that the Warriors Alliance favors No. 1 Middle School, it's because No. 1 Middle School has the most candidates, more than 700, and No. 2 Middle School has only more than 100. The remaining No. 3 Middle School and other schools may have about 300 candidates combined. It would be nice to be able to hit a pillar in 2 separate pieces. No one refuted at this time. There really weren't that many people in their school. However, many people in No. 1 Middle School looked at number 2 Middle School provocatively, especially Yi Chen. After all, Yi Chen had just slapped No. 1 Middle School in the face. Yi Chen only felt funny in his heart. He just felt that the students in No. 1 Middle School were like little kids competing for candy. Get in line and start testing now. Everyone moved very quickly and soon formed 4 rows. No. 1 Middle School, Ningchuan, start testing. The team from No. 1 Middle School had already begun the test. The student whose name was called took a deep breath, and then punched the test column. Ning Chuan, your strength is 813 kilograms. You have 2 more chances. Do you want to continue the test? The staff member asked. Continue testing. I saw the student named Ning Chuan throw 2 punches again, one with 805 kilograms and one with 817 kilograms. The final strength score was 40.85 points. Next, to test the level, just put your hand on the test pillar and input the source energy. Ning Chuan was seen pressing one hand on the test column, and a red source of energy loomed on his arm. Ning Chuan, awakened to level 8, has a level score of 40 points, and has a source energy quality level of 5, with a score of 25 points. Ning Chuan was overjoyed when he heard the results announced by the staff. He was very satisfied with this result. There are 4 sections in the physical fitness test, namely, strength, speed, level, and energy quality. Each section is 50 points. Among them, reaching 1,000 kilograms of strength is a full score, reaching the first level of a warrior is also a full score, and the source energy quality needs to reach level 10 to be considered a full score. According to common sense, cultivation and strength should correspond to each other. But the students here have only just awakened for a month, and most of them have higher levels probably because they took potions to improve them. Although many people have higher levels, they find it difficult to exert corresponding power. If they are given enough time to grow, their strength will naturally gradually increase to the corresponding level. This student named Ning Chuan is already quite outstanding at being able to exert a power consistent with his level at the current stage. As for the source energy quality, students at this stage do not have much time to practice, so it is very normal for the source energy quality to be only level 5. The first student in No. 1 middle school had such a result, which was a good start, and the morale of No. 1 middle school immediately improved. On the other hand, other schools are very stressful, and Ningchuan's results are among the best among other schools. The first student from No. 2 middle school may have also been affected. The 6th level of awakening only hit 475 kilograms, and the source energy quality was only level 2, which was quite poor. This made the people in No. 1 middle school even more proud, with proud smiles on their faces. Some people even ridiculed. This is the level of No. 2 middle school, awakening to the 6th level but only exerting the power of the 4th level. If such a person goes to the wild, I am afraid he will only become food in the mouths of strange beasts. Ha ha ha. The jeers from the No. 1 middle school team continued one after another. The second middle school student who was ridiculed lowered his head in shame and buried his head deeply in his chest, as if he would cry at any time. Yan Sheng hurriedly stepped forward to comfort him. Don't listen to their nonsense. There will be a speed test and a practical assessment later. After the test, you will lose the same thing. Don't let these people's words affect the subsequent tests. Remember, never give up until the last moment. With Yan Sheng's encouragement, this classmate got a little better. In fact, although this classmate's performance is not satisfactory, based on his current results, he can still be admitted to an ordinary Wuhan university. But compared with No. 1 middle school, such results do seem to pale in comparison. In the next test, the team from No. 1 middle school performed well, and the measured results were all very good, with the worst reaching the 6th level of awakening. However, there are many students in the teams of No. 2 middle school and No. 3 middle school who are only at the 2nd or 3rd level of awakening. Awakening to the 6th level is already a good achievement, and those with strength are no match for the 1st middle school. The atmosphere in No. 3 middle school and No. 2 middle school was very depressing, which was much different from the joy and laughter in No. 1 middle school. There is nothing Yan Sheng and Zhang Ding can do. This cannot be changed with a few words. The facts are here and it is useless to say anything. Martial arts is bound to cost a lot of resources, and the 2nd and 3rd middle schools are almost ordinary families. People with Chu Tian's family background are already rare in No. 2 middle school, but in No. 1 middle school, Chu Tian's family background may only be average. This is the cruelty of reality. Zhang Ding couldn't let Yi Chen take action now. The only ones who could do it were Yi Chen and Chu Tian from the 2nd middle school, and the top genius from the 1st middle school obviously didn't take action either. If Yi Chen took action at this time, he would probably be at a disadvantage. At this moment, there was a commotion among the crowd in No. 3 middle school. Wu Kai, who had been defeated by Yi Chen, stood up. Although he was sponsored by the Yi family, he did not join the No. 1 middle school. After all, he was from the No. 3 middle school. The situation in No. 3 middle school was worse than that in No. 2 middle school. There was not even one person who had reached the 5th level of awakening. At this time, he had to stand up. During the strength test, you are allowed to use supernatural powers, but you are not allowed to use combat skills. Because combat skills add a lot to strength, and the physical test here actually measures your potential and your original strength. The supernatural power naturally belongs to you and is allowed to be used, so some people related to awakening power will have some advantages at this time. I saw Wu Kai shouting loudly, and his body was covered with a thick layer of leather armor, which looked like an elephant. It was his special power, the earth-shattering giant elephant. Wu Kai slowly squatted down, then suddenly rose up, causing a cloud of dust to fly on the ground. Boom! Wu Kai's fist hit the test column hard. Wu Kai, strength 920 kilograms. There was a sudden commotion in the crowd. He is worthy of being the strongest among the 3. His power is already close to that of a warrior. Yes, we finally have someone who is better than No. 1 middle school. The morale of No. 3 middle school suddenly rose, and even No. 1 middle school looked sideways, but Kai Chen was still smiling there, as if he had the confidence to control everything. Do you still want to continue testing? No, just take this time. Wu Kai's special ability, the earth-shattering giant elephant, not only has strong defense, but also has good strength, so he can achieve a power close to that of a warrior. And he also knew that if he failed again and again, he would lose it 3 times, and 2 more punches would not be better than this one. It was better to end it while everyone's momentum was high. The staff member nodded and said, Wu Kai, the strength test score is 46 points. It's only 4 points away from the perfect score, which is really good. Wu Kai then injected source energy into the test column. Wu Kai, awakened to level 9, scored 45 points, source energy quality level 5, scored 25 points. Sure enough, Wu Kai had already awakened to the 9th level. The last time he had a discussion with Yi Chen, he had only awakened to the 6th level. In just 10 days, he had risen to the 3rd level. He was worthy of being a top-level A-level power. But even for Wu Kai, his source energy quality is still only level 5, which is quite satisfactory. But it's not surprising. If the quality of the source energy is not bad after reaching the 3rd level in such a short period of time, then Wu Kai is really a monster. Of course, except cheaters like Yi Chen. Wu Kai's scores were ranked 1st in No. 1 middle school, even though everyone tested in No. 1 middle school had good scores. But most of them are at the 8th level, and there are very few at the 9th level. There are even fewer people who can explode such strong power at the 9th level. Many people in the number 3 middle school crowd were already excited and happy for Wu Kai's results. HMPH, I don't know what No. 1 middle school is proud of. Wu Kai is 1st in our number 3 middle school, but this result is not the 1st in No. 1 middle school. It's just that, they just have better resources, otherwise they might not be able to compete with us. Hatred of the rich is the psychology of most people, especially when the rich are better than themselves. They always like to blame other people's success entirely on their wealth. Yi Chen looked at the people in No. 3 middle school, constantly bragging about Wu Kai and belittling No. 1 middle school, and couldn't help but shake his head. The champagne is popped at halftime again. Yi Chen wasn't speaking for the people in No. 1 middle school, he just wasn't blinded like those in No. 3 middle school. Yi Chen just looked at the strength of number 1 middle school. Their strength was indeed partly due to money, and the level of their awakened powers was not low. But in martial arts, one cannot always become stronger just by having resources. If you want to become a strong person, character, hard work, opportunity, etc. are all indispensable. And the families of many people in No. 1 middle school are not ordinary wealthy people. Most of them have been strong warriors for several generations. That shows that they have also worked hard and accumulated wealth, making it easier for future generations to pursue martial arts. Yi Chen just felt that he could not look at a person with prejudice and deny everything about him because of one aspect of him. Just like now, what's the use of complaining about family background here? If you always think that others are strong just because you are lucky, then it will be difficult to go far in martial arts. Instead of complaining, it is better to accept it, then find ways to solve the problem and find ways to surpass the other party. Although this world is dangerous, it is also full of opportunities. As long as you dare to fight, you will also have the opportunity to become stronger. Everyone in the number 1 middle school looked at the person who was opening the champagne. They did not appear angry as expected, but looked on with cold eyes. At this moment, a familiar figure from Yi Chen walked out. Mu Qingwan, you go. A green figure walked out of the team in No. 1 middle school. It was Mu Qingwan who had had a conflict with Yi Chen. Mu Qingwan calmly walked to the test pillar, and then punched lightly. I thought she was some kind of powerful person, but it turns out she's a girl who doesn't even have the strength to punch. There's really no one left in No. 1 middle school. Yi Chen held his forehead and thought, why do these people from No. 3 middle school like to open champagne at halftime so much? It was the same when Wu Kai and I were competing. Everyone in No. 1 middle school looked at the person who just spoke like a clown. Mu Qingwan's punch seemed light, but when it landed on the test pillar, it made a huge roar. Mu Qingwan, strength 950 kilograms. No need to measure anymore, just measure the source energy. Mu Qingwan didn't wait for the staff to ask her, she said coldly, and as she said that, Mu Qingwan released a source of energy towards the test column. Mu Qingwan is a first-level warrior with a score of 50 points, a source energy level of level 6, a score of 30 points, and a strength score of 47.5 points. As the staff member finished speaking, the hall instantly became quiet, and you could hear the drop of a needle, especially the team from No. 3 Middle School. The person who had just taunted opened his mouth wide. How is it possible? How is it possible that he is a warrior? He looked in disbelief. Mu Qingwan was the first warrior-level student to appear on the field, which had a great impact on people from other schools. The momentum that Mu Qingwan had just gained was immediately thrown into the abyss. Mu Qingwan looked at the man and said arrogantly, "The frog at the bottom of the well." The man who just made the taunt lowered his head in shame. None of the words he just said were as lethal as Mu Qingwan's 4 words. After Mu Qingwan glanced at the man, she then turned her attention to Yi Chen in the number 2 middle school team. Then he made a provocative expression towards Yi Chen. Yi Chen had no reaction, but raised the corners of his mouth and murmured, "Interesting." Yi Chen was not surprised that Mu Qingwan could break through the warrior. It would be really ridiculous if even the disciples of the 5th-level pharmacist could not break through the warrior. However, Mu Qingwan's strength and source energy quality still surprised Yi Chen. Although Mu Qingwan did not have the strength corresponding to the 1st-level warrior, it was already very good to be able to exert 950 kilograms. The main reason is that Mu Qingwan's power is the B-level wood spirit pupil, which is not very helpful in combat. It is an auxiliary type. It is really surprising to be able to exert this power. Moreover, the quality of the source energy is also good, reaching level 6, which shows that Mu Qingwan's foundation is relatively solid. But this only surprised Yi Chen a little. This level was still not enough in front of Yi Chen. "You've already taken action, so I'll have some fun too." A figure walked out from beside Mu Qingwan. It was the thin boy who was next to Yi Rongshuan just now. "You're so annoying. Why don't you let me be the number 1 temporarily? Are you so eager to surpass me?" Mu Qingwan was a little unhappy and looked at him reproachfully. He quickly smiled and said, "Oh, isn't it because my hands are itching to see you take action? Besides, neither of us can be the first, so what's the difference? HMPH, I'm too lazy to tell you, just go ahead." Mu Qingwan went directly back to the team in No. 1 Middle School. The thin man walked to the test post. After Mu Qingwan's test, everyone in the audience was watching Yi Zhang. At this time, he walked out and naturally attracted the attention of everyone. "Hey," he stretched, and there was a clicking sound. Then he activated his source energy, and a gust of wind suddenly rose in the hall. The windbreaker he was wearing whirred, and his right fist suddenly became a little blurry, with a little green flashing. He punched suddenly and hit the test column. His hand seemed to be wearing a metal glove, and it made a harsh sound like metal and stone colliding against the test column. After the sound dissipated, if you look closely, you will see a small mark on the test column, as if it had been cut with a knife. Although there are only a few traces, it is shocking enough. This is the test pillar of the Warrior Alliance. There was no problem in testing King Wu's strength, but it was surprising that a small high school student like him left traces. The wind returns, the force is 1150 kilograms. The staff's voice sounded in the hall. Everyone's eyes stayed on Feng Wei. How is it possible? 1150 kilograms is almost the level of a second-level warrior. The students in number 2 and No. 3 Middle School had despair in their eyes. The gap was too big. Feng Wei then input a little source energy into the test column. Feng Wei, the first-level warrior, scores 50 points, the source energy level is level 6, scores 30 points, and the strength score is 50 points. 2 full marks, only the source energy level that requires time to accumulate does not have full marks. Being able to exert power beyond the level of a warrior at the first level would not be easy if it weren't for body refining and superpowers. Yi Chen thought to himself. It should be a supernatural power. After thinking for a while, Yi Chen came to a conclusion. Refining the body requires time and resources. It's not that Yi Chen feels that he lacks resources, but that he lacks time. It is absolutely impossible to achieve success in body training in such a short period of time. Although there was no change in the eyes of others when he punched, Yi Chen still accurately captured the flash of green light on his fist. That should be his superpower, and the fact that it can leave a mark on the test column shows that his superpower is extremely sharp. It is impossible to leave traces on the test column with the force of 1150 kilograms alone. This also shows that he is not refining the body, because if he was refining the body, if he wanted to leave a trace, it would only be a fist mark. And judging from his thin figure, he doesn't look like he's done physical training. Ever since Yi Chen started practicing his body training, Yi Chen's skin and figure have undergone major changes, and he definitely doesn't look like this sickly person. Feng Wei also glanced at Yi Chen at this time. Seeing that Yi Chen had no reaction, he murmured, "You don't even take action. Do you have the confidence or do you dare not?" At this time, Yan Sheng walked to Yi Chen and whispered, "Yi Chen, how about you take action?" Yan Sheng was also a little anxious. After Feng Wei took action, the atmosphere in No. 2 middle school and No. 3 middle school was not very good. Even Wu Kai just looked gloomy and had no idea what to do. Everyone was shocked by this huge gap. In front of real geniuses, they felt that their previous efforts over the years were so ridiculous in the eyes of others. Yi Chen was a little helpless and shook his head. "I'm afraid this is not their most powerful person. I may improve some morale by taking action now, but there will be nothing we can do in the future." Even though Feng Hui's grades were indeed very good, Yi Chen knew that his good cousin Yi Yuntian had not taken action yet. He didn't believe that Yi Yuntian would be inferior to Feng Wei under the training of the Yi family. The Yi family now hates Yi Chen deeply, but they dare not take action against Yi Chen. The college entrance examination is the best opportunity, and Yi Chen believes that the Yi family will never let this opportunity pass. That's right, we just have to wait and see. Yan Sheng also knew that Yi Chen was their only chance to beat number 1, and Yi Chen would be out of cards as soon as he played. Many of the people sent out for testing in the first middle school were awakened to the 9th level, and a few were also first-level warriors. It's just that the strength is not as terrifying as Feng Hui's, neither has reached the level of 1,000 kilograms. But this is enough to overwhelm people from other schools. In the subsequent test, Chu Tian gave everyone a surprise. Chu Tian, awakened to the 9th level, scored 45 points, Source Energy Level 6, scored 30 points, Strength 900 kilograms, scored 45 points. Chu Tian actually broke through to the 9th level of awakening in the last few days, and his source energy level was not low. It seemed that his special training during that period had some effect. However, Yi Chen was a little surprised that Chu Tian was able to hit 900 kilograms. Chu Tian's superpower is A-level Swift Wind, which logically does not add much to his strength. Maybe it was his muscles that played a role, Yi Chen didn't know. The next ones were unremarkable, but there was a small episode in the middle. Yi Rongxuan, who was injured by Yi Chen, also participated in the test. Yi Rongxuan, awakened to the 9th level, scored 45 points, Source Energy Level 5, scored 25 points, has a strength of 750 kilograms and scored 37.5 points. In terms of strength, he can only reach the level of the 7th level of awakening due to injuries, but for the other 2 items, if he was trained by the Yi family from the beginning. Yi Rongxuan, awakened to the 9th level, scored 45 points, Source Energy Level 5, scored 25 points, has a strength of 750 kilograms and scored 37.5 points. Yi Rongxuan, who was standing in front of the test machine, couldn't help but frown after seeing the data displayed on the screen. Because of his injuries, his strength can only reach the 7th level of awakening. But this is not his real strength. If it were not for the impact of his injuries, he could have performed better. Yi Rongxuan's superpower is the A-level Blazing Sun Mastiff, which is considered top-notch among A-level superpowers. In terms of strength, the Blazing Sun Crazy Mastiff gave him a considerable bonus. Normally he could hit at least 900 kilograms. Yi Rongxuan knew in his heart that if he had been valued and cultivated by his family from the beginning, his cultivation would at least be able to break through to the realm of a warrior, and his source energy level would not just stay at level 5. It's a pity that there is no if in the world, and now he can no longer change the past. Yi Rongxuan raised his head and looked at Yi Chen in front of him, his eyes full of resentment and unwillingness. He originally had a chance to compete for the top 2, but now this result has completely made him lose his competitiveness. If you want to enter those two top universities, your college entrance examination ranking must be within the top 100. For weaker provinces like Tianxiang, the number of places is even less than 100. In the entire Tianxiang province, it is still possible to find 100 warrior-level candidates. Yi Rongxuan's only advantage is strength, but now it has become a weakness. At this moment, Yi Rongxuan's heart was full of hatred. He knew that he had lost the opportunity to pursue a higher level, and all this was because of Yi Chen. Yi Chen looked at Yi Rongxuan's face that was almost distorted with anger, and he felt no guilt at all, let alone regret. He didn't even feel a trace of sympathy. On the contrary, he felt an indescribable pleasure. All this is not revenge against the Yi family, it is just a little interest he collected in advance. In the subsequent examinations, the students of No. 1 middle school performed well and achieved excellent results. However, here, except for Chu Tian and Wu Kai, whose scores were better, the scores of other candidates did not attract much attention. However, from a potential perspective, Chu Tian and Wu Kai clearly have the advantage. Students like Chu Tian and Wu Kai who have awakened their A-level abilities will at least be admitted to Sifang Martial Arts University even if their grades are slightly lower. In contrast, although some students in No. 1 middle school had equivalent grades, and some even had better grades, their abilities did not reach a level and they were not recommended for admission. The reason why these students can achieve better results depends more on the high-quality educational resources provided by their families. When the cultivation level is low, the advantages of superpowers are not very significant, and the gap can be made up through the investment of resources. However, as the level increases, the advantages of superpower levels will gradually become more prominent, and the role of resources will be relatively weakened. However, it should not be a big problem for them to take the Sifang Martial Arts School test. Yi Chen was waiting quietly in the team of No. 2 middle school. Finally, just when only half of the team in No. 2 middle school was about to finish the test, a burst of cheers came from the crowd in No. 1 middle school. Yi Yuntian, go ahead. Kai Chen said softly, still looking like he was squinting. Are you planning to beat the second one to death with a stick? Yi Chen muttered to himself as he narrowed his eyes. Many of the students in the second and third middle schools in front were influenced by Mu Wanqing, Feng Wei and others, and their performance was not as good as usual, and their morale was very low. There are still half of the students who have not taken the test. It seems that Kai Chen is very confident in Yi Yuntian and believes that Yi Yuntian can achieve a score that will overwhelm all the students behind him. And judging from the reactions of the students in No. 1 middle school, it seems that Yi Yuntian's grades are quite good in normal times, otherwise he wouldn't have such a loud voice. Yi Yuntian was wearing a black martial arts uniform, looking very low-key and nothing special. His face has clear lines, the bridge of his nose is tall and straight, and his hair is slightly long, covering part of his eyes, but his eyes are vaguely deep and sharp. Surprisingly, his eyes turned out to be dark red, which made him look even more mysterious and weird. In addition, his skin color is extremely pale, with almost no blood color, which makes people feel chilly. In Yi Chen's memory, Yi Yuntian's character as a child was lively and cheerful, full of sunshine, which was completely different from the cold impression he gives people today. At this time, Yi Yuntian slowly walked towards the testing pillar as everyone in No. 1 middle school cheered for him. He stood there quietly, and suddenly, his right hand was shrouded in a layer of red light, as if there was a powerful force surging in it. Immediately afterwards, Yi Yuntian suddenly slapped his palm, and his palm fell heavily on the test column. Yi Yuntian, with a strength of 1,200 kilograms, scored 50 points. After the staff member finished speaking, there was silence in the field. A moment later, thunderous cheers erupted from the team of No. 1 middle school. Even the staff member looked at him twice. This achievement was rare in the entire Yuling city, and he would have been qualified to win the championship in previous years. Then Yi Yuntian input a source of energy into the test column. Yi Yuntian, 4th level warrior, score 50 points, source energy level 7, 35 points. As soon as the two results came out, they once again caused a sensation. Yi Yuntian's source energy level is currently the highest, and he is also a 4th level warrior. Even Yi Chen couldn't help but be a little surprised. Although he knew that Yi Yuntian must be at the warrior level, he didn't expect that he had already broken through to the 4th level of warrior. After careful observation before, Yi Chen roughly understood the source energy level. Level 5 was considered the normal level of cultivation, while level 6 and above meant that the source energy had begun to transform. Judging from the current situation, Yi Yuntian's progress in converting source energy is considered very fast. Yi Chen is very certain that Yi Yuntian did not use his full strength during the strength test, otherwise his score would definitely be more than 1,200 kilograms. Yi Yuntian's results were like a heavy boulder, weighing heavily on the hearts of other schools. Even Yan Sheng and Zhang Ding, who had always had full confidence in Yi Chen, had helpless and lonely expressions on their faces after learning about Yi Yuntian's results. Obviously, they did not expect Yi Yuntian's results to be so outstanding. In their hearts, Yi Chen could not achieve such results. Sure enough, the heritage of the Wuzun family is beyond what people like us can imagine. Before, I thought about relying on Yi Chen to make a comeback, but it turned out to be wishful thinking. Yi Chen alone can't turn defeat into victory. Zhang Ding's face was full of loneliness. Before, he naively thought that Yi Chen's S-level power was enough to defeat Yi Zhang. But judging from the current situation, number 1 middle school crushes no. 2 middle school in both average and top results. In the past, he always thought that Kai Chen was about the same as him, but he didn't expect that Kai Chen was already the king of Wu, and even his student level was several steps ahead of no. 2 middle school. After that, Yi Chen appeared behind Yi Yuntian. If he lost, the only hope for no. 2 middle school would be shattered. And in Zhang Ding's heart, Yi Chen must not be as strong as Yi Yun. The few resources he gave Yi Chen were not enough for Yi Chen to break through to the warrior level. What's more, Yuan Hai has been transformed. At this time, everyone in the 2nd and 3rd middle schools, including Zhang Ding Yansheng, is already in despair. Kai Chen quietly watched the reaction there, with a smile on his lips. This was the effect he wanted. What they want is to prevent the people behind no. 2 middle school from performing at their normal level and crush no. 2 middle school in all aspects. Yi Yuntian turned a blind eye to the people around him who were praising him, and just turned to look at Yi Chen. Yi Chen was speechless for a while. Why did the test scores of these number 1 middle school students all depend on him? People who didn't know better thought Yi Chen had done something to them. As a direct descendant of the Yi family, Yi Yuntian naturally knew about Feng Lian taking Yi Chen to the Yi family. He got an order from his father Yi Pengtian to kill Yi Chen in the college entrance examination. Even if he couldn't kill him, he would still defeat Yi Chen and save some face for the Yi family. Yi Chen didn't know that Yi Yuntian's current cultivation level was due to his contribution. Ever since Feng Lian defeated Yi Qingqing, Yi Yuntian had gained resources from the Yi family. He took a lot of heavenly materials and earthly treasures, and also got help from Wu Di. Otherwise, it would have been impossible to reach the 4th level of warrior and the 7th level of source energy in such a short period of time. Moreover, Yi Yuntian actually got admission places from Kyoto University and Shanghai University of Magic, but the conditions were not as generous as Yi Chen's. This shows that Yi Yuntian's ability is very special, otherwise he would not have received a quota. Originally, he didn't want to break through so quickly. After all, the higher the level at this stage, the more difficult it would be to capture the source of energy. But there was nothing he could do to defeat Yi Chen. He knew that Yi Chen had been recommended by the Magic City Wuhan University, so there must be something special about him. He is not as brainless as Yi Rongshuan. Let me see what my dear brother is capable of, so that a genius from the Magic City Wuhan University can accompany you to the Yi family. Yi Yuntian's eyes narrowed slightly, flashing with a strange red light, and he said in a cold tone. If that's the case, then I don't need to wait any longer. Yi Chen stood up, walked to the front of the team, and said with a smile, how about you let me join the team? Is that okay? The student standing first was stunned for a moment, and then said quickly, okay, no problem. He made room for Yi Chen. Everyone in No. 3 middle school, number 2 middle school, and some No. 1 middle school knew that Yi Chen was not simple. At this moment, Yi Chen attracted the attention of most people on the court. Who is this person? Is he very strong? Some people in No. 1 middle school didn't know why. If you can defeat Yi Rongshuan, you shouldn't be weak. Don't you know? He is the abandoned son of the Yi family. No wonder he hit Yi Rongshuan so hard. It turns out he had a grudge, but even if he defeated Yi Chen, it wouldn't be a big deal. That's true. There are many people in our school who are better than Yi Rongshuan, but does he think his grades are better than Yi Yuntian's at this time? HMPH, how is that possible? Yi Yuntian is a direct descendant of the Yi family and has countless resources. How can he compare to an abandoned son of the Yi family? Being able to defeat Yi Rongshuan is probably his limit. There was a lot of discussion among the team in No. 1 middle school, and Yi Chen's knowledge was turned over in just a few words. When Wu Kai saw Yi Chen standing up, his expression was complicated. Yi Chen, can you really surpass Yi Yuntian? Yi Chen strode toward the test pillar with meteoric strides. His right hand was surrounded by purple arcs, and the terrifying thunder light exuded a heart-stopping aura of destruction. Yi Chen didn't care that his special ability would be exposed, because he had already demonstrated this ability when he was competing with Wu Kai. Moreover, the Yi family's power must have known about Yi Chen's superpowers for a long time. However, everyone thought that Yi Chen had an A-level purple extreme thunder. At this moment, Yi Yuntian saw the powerful destructive aura on Yi Chen's right hand, and his face became serious. Is this the purple extreme thunder that is so valued by the Magic City Wuhan University? It is indeed extraordinary. Yi Chen thought to himself. You only need to use 60 to 70% of your strength. After all, you still have 3 chances. Of course he won't go all out. After all, a perfect score is enough, and the next 500 points in actual combat are the key. There is no benefit in exposing all the strength at this moment, especially when the Yi family has been keeping a close eye on him. Then, Yi Chen punched the test column fiercely, and in an instant, the lightning flashed like a brilliant purple firework. Yi Chen, with a strength of 1,300 kilograms, scores 50 points. After the words fell, no one could react, but Chu Tian was the first to speak. Yi Chen, you are awesome. Yi Shen, invincible. Suddenly, the number 2 middle school team burst into thunderous shouts. Yi Chen's punch gave them hope. Even Zhang Ding and Yan Shang, who had lost confidence, regained the light in their eyes after Yi Chen's punch, and they saw hope again. There was also some commotion in the number 1 middle school team. How is that possible? 1,300 kilograms, but Yi Yuntian only has 1,200 kilograms. Doesn't that mean Yi Chen is stronger? Yi Yuntian's palm didn't use his full strength at first glance. If he had used his full strength, Yi Yuntian would have been stronger. A student from No. 1 middle school analyzed calmly. Although the people in No. 1 middle school were surprised, the punch did not hit them. It only gave hope to No. 2 middle school and No. 3 middle school. 1,300 kilograms. Not bad. Yi Chen has gained stronger control over his body since he started training, and this punch was also his expected result. Yi Chen input a source of energy into the test column. Yi Chen, Warrior Level 2, scored 50 points. The second level warrior actually hit 1,300 kilograms. This purple extreme thunder is really strong. Yi Yuntian said with emotion. You are actually a second level warrior. Doesn't it mean that Yi Chen doesn't have any resources? There must be some financial support from some force, but even if it is funded, it shouldn't be enough for him to break through to the second level of a warrior. Maybe it's just a quick improvement in cultivation level, and also the source energy level. Zhang Ding looked surprised. Is it possible to cultivate S-level superpowers so quickly? With just a few resources, can you cultivate to the second level of a warrior? Yi Chen was the first person he knew who had S-level powers, so he didn't know much about S-level powers, so he attributed Yi Chen's cultivation to the horror of S-level powers. Although S-level abilities are indeed faster to cultivate, they also require a lot of resources, and the advantage of S-level abilities is not in the speed of cultivation, but in kinetic energy, power, etc. Yi Chen, Source Energy Level 10, score 50 points. The staff couldn't believe their eyes, so they took another look before they were sure. What? Full score on the source energy level? Is there something wrong with the machine? How is it possible? This Warrior Alliance's test column has not had any problems for so many years. Yi Yuntian's eyes turned gloomy when he looked at Yi Chen. Okay, you are worthy of being a member of that lineage. You should have eradicated it from the beginning. Yi Yuntian said sinisterly. Although Yi Chen's first 2 scores were full marks, he didn't care because he could do it too. But the source energy level of this last item is not something he can achieve. Yi Chen is level 10, which means that Yi Chen has completed the transformation of the Source Sea and reached the Silver Sea. It has only been a long time. Judging from Yi Chen's growth rate, Yi Chen will one day become the Yi family's formidable enemy. So Yi Yuntian wished Yi Chen had died that year. Full score for the source energy level. Yan Sheng, I heard you right. Zhang Ding opened his eyes wide and said to Yan Sheng next to him. School, principal, I think you heard me right. Level 10, 50 points, perfect score in 3 items. Yan Sheng was also surprised. Yi Shen is invincible. The second one is invincible. The students of No. 2 middle school were completely boiling at this moment, and the boulder that had been pressing on their hearts was completely wiped out at this moment. Even Kai Chen's face didn't look good at the moment. What a Yi Chen, he's hidden deep enough. Yi Chen's perfect source energy level shocked everyone and was beyond everyone's expectations. Wu Kai was a little disappointed. Yi Chen, are you so strong? Mu Qingwan's face was so gloomy that she was about to drip water. She thought that after breaking through as a warrior, she would be able to beat Yi Chen in the test results, but she didn't expect that Yi Chen would become stronger than him. With this level of combat power, he would probably not be Yi Chen's opponent when they encountered him in actual combat during the college entrance examination. And she also had Wu Di's help. At this moment, Kai Chen's plan was broken by Yi Chen, and the morale of No. 2 middle school reached its peak, while the atmosphere of No. 1 middle school dropped to freezing point. They couldn't accept being defeated by a middle school student who was an outcast from the Yi family and had no resources. He was still so completely crushed. None of them spoke and stood there. Yi Chen's results were like a bomb, instantly detonating the entire examination room. People's eyes looking at Yi Chen were filled with various complex emotions: anger, relief, admiration, joy, hatred and jealousy. Good guy, it turns out you are really so powerful. I thought you lied to me. Chu Tian punched Yi Chen excitedly, with an ecstatic smile on his face. He didn't feel jealous at all because Yi Chen had achieved such excellent results. On the contrary, he was secretly glad in his heart and hoped that Yi Chen would become stronger so that he could hug this thick thigh tightly. I told you a long time ago that I am very strong, but you don't believe it. Yi Chen rolled his eyes with a hint of pride in his tone. Ha 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 ha, it's not too late to believe now. Don't forget each other if you want to be rich or noble. I will rely on you to protect me from now on in actual combat. I just need to lie down with peace of mind. Chu Tian showed a flattering smile, as if he had already seen the bright future of successfully entering the magical city of Wuhan University. Now, he is confident about whether he can get into Wudu University, not because he has enough confidence in his own strength, but because he believes in Yi Chen's strength. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly. In fact, one of the important reasons why he chose to take the college entrance examination was to help Chu Tian. After all, Chu Tian was the only one who could lend a hand to help him when he was in danger. Being able to make such a friend, Yi Chen felt that he was lucky in these years of misfortune. Don't worry, I will definitely protect you, Yi Chen said softly, with a firm light flashing in his eyes. Although the results of the second middle school in the next test were still not as good as those of the first half, they were obviously much better than the first half, and some even broke out with strength beyond their usual level. Although No. 1 middle school was still affected by Yi Chen's results, its overall strength was still very strong and its results were quite satisfactory. Kai Chen walked to Yi Yuntian, Feng Wei and Mu Qingwan and whispered, "This is only the first day of the martial arts test. There is also a speed test today. Don't be affected. Try to get full marks in the speed test. Even if his source energy level is high, he won't be much ahead of you. What matters next is the actual combat score of 500 points." Yi Yuntian's face was gloomy. "I know, I won't make mistakes in the subsequent speed test." It can be seen that he is still very worried about Yi Chen's achievements. The resources he has used for training during this period can be said to be an astronomical amount. Under such circumstances, his performance was actually worse than that of an abandoned son of the family. This meant that under the same conditions, he was far inferior to Yi Chen. This was the most unacceptable point in his heart. Seeing this, Kai Chen knew that they couldn't care less about Yi Chen's results, and also knew what Yi Yuntian cared about. Yi Yuntian, don't think that you are not good enough because you have used a lot of resources to practice and your grades are not as good as Yi Chen's. No one would dislike the fact that he has many resources. The fact that Yi Chen can reach this level in such a short period of time shows that he is indeed an out-and-out genius. Kai Chen did not deny Yi Chen's talent. If he still looked down on Yi Chen at this time, it meant that he was a fool and could not teach smart students. Don't use his strengths to compare with your own shortcomings. If he has good talents, you can use resources to fill them. I hope my students know how to use their strengths and avoid their weaknesses, instead of feeling sorry for themselves at the slightest failure. The next 500 points in actual combat are the focus. Don't let these points affect your future performance. A warrior's combat skills, actual combat experience, weapons and equipment, etc. are all equally important. If you lose a little here, you can win it back in actual combat later. Tell me whether you have confidence. Yi Yuntian also realized at this time that having resources was his own advantage and part of his strength. Kai Chen is also right. A warrior's level of source energy does not determine everything. Combat skills and experience are equally important. No warrior is perfect, so there is no need to care about winning or losing. Next time, I won't lose. Yi Yuntian's eyes were firm, and Feng Wei and Mu Qingwan also nodded heavily. Kai Chen saw their looks and knew that they had adjusted. He had to say that he was pretty good at being a teacher. Kai Chen looked at Yi Chen in the number 2 middle school team and said in a voice that only he could hear, "A genius is a genius who can grow up." Yi Chen only felt a chill on his back, but when he looked back, there was nothing there. Okay, the test is over, let's do the speed test next, follow me. Director Li, who had stopped Zhang Ding and Kai Chen before, appeared in the hall. His eyes lingered on Yi Chen for a while, and Yi Chen keenly caught them. Yi Chen was a little helpless, thinking that he might have received more attention today than he had received in the previous 10 years. Everyone followed him to a long and narrow room with 4 runways, each 100 meters long. There are speed measuring instruments at the beginning, end and middle of the runway, and the final results are averaged. There are still 2 tracks for no. 1 middle school, 1 for no. 2 middle school, and 1 track for no. 3 middle school and other schools. But this time, no one spoke much, and no one mocked each other. No, 1 middle school did not dare to mock because of Yi Chen, and other schools did not mock because of no. 1 middle school's better results. In short, each of them is inferior to the other. It is rare that everyone conducted the test peacefully. Mu Qingwan, 20 meters per second, score 40 points. Mu Qingwan sighed. He was able to exert a force of 950 kilograms before because one of the potions Wudi prepared for him was called a powerful potion. It gave him about 100 kilograms more strength, but this potion can only be used once. After use, it will be difficult to increase his strength for a period of time. She also took it for the college entrance examination, but she doesn't have combat powers, so if she doesn't increase her strength for a period of time, it won't have much impact on her. Her warrior cultivation level was improved entirely by potions. Now that she has no other means of speed, she can only perform at the level of the 8th level of awakening. The next one to appear was Feng Wei. A green light appeared on his feet again, and shot out with a bang. Feng Wei, speed 26.8 meters per second, score 50 points. Hearing the results, Feng Hui's face showed a confident smile again, and even Kai Chen smiled and nodded. Don't think that Feng Wei is only 6.8 meters per second faster than Mu Qingwan. It is extremely difficult to increase the speed. Every time you go faster, you may have more chances to survive on the battlefield. Yi Chen looked at Feng Wei and whispered, his superpower should be very explosive. Both strength and this speed test are beneficial to him. Even though the wind was blowing back quickly, Yi Chen still noticed that his speed at the starting point was slightly faster than his speed at the end. Moreover, during the previous strength test, the fact that he could leave a small mark on the test column also shows that his explosive power is very strong. If it's a competition of explosive power, I won't lose, Yi Chen said with a smile on his face and full of confidence in his heart. The meteorite thunder he possesses has powerful explosive power and attack power, and it also has S-level abilities. Therefore, Yi Chen has absolute confidence in the ability of the heavenly meteor Divine Thunder. The next person to appear is Chu Tian. Chu Tian's superpower is the A-level Swift Wind, which has a great advantage in speed. I saw the wind blowing from the soles of Chu Tian's feet, and he immediately ran out, running at a speed that was incompatible with his figure. Chu Tian, speed 25.9 meters per second, score 50 points. Yi Chen was also very happy when he heard the staff announcing the results. Chu Tian was able to run out of the martial arts at a very good speed with his 9th level awakened strength. And because this is a 100-meter runway, if it were longer, Chu Tian's speed might not be slower than Feng Wei's. Next, it was Yi Yuntian's turn to appear in No. 1 Middle School. He still maintained that cold look, which was in sharp contrast to his bright red pupils. I saw red mist flashing around Yi Yuntian, and then he quickly sprang out like an arrow from a string. Yi Yuntian, speed 32.5 meters per second, score 50 points. The referee announced loudly. Everyone was amazed and started talking one after another. What a fast speed. This is simply a speed that can only be achieved by a 5th-level warrior. Yeah, it's really rare to be able to achieve such amazing speed at this age. Kai Chen showed a satisfied smile on his face, obviously very satisfied with Yi Yuntian's performance. How are you? Are you sure? Zhang Ding looked at Yi Chen worriedly. However, Yi Chen's expression did not appear nervous. He just nodded gently and replied calmly, "It's okay, it's not a big problem." Yi Yuntian's test did not hold back. His superpower is not really good at speed, but he can burst out with the speed of a 5th-level warrior at the level of a 4th-level warrior, which is enough to illustrate his ability. Yi Chen, can you still surpass me this time? Yi Yuntian was also very satisfied with his test this time. He was sure that Yi Chen would not be able to surpass his 5th-level warrior's speed with his 2nd-level warrior strength. Yi Chen saw Yi Yuntian's eyes burning with fire when he looked at him, and knew that Yi Yuntian was declaring war on him. Are you so impatient? Yi Chen just smiled faintly. If Yi Chen had stood in Yi Yuntian's position, even if he was not as good as Yi Yuntian in the previous 2 tests, Yi Chen would not have tried his best here. Because everyone has perfect scores, exposing one's own strength in advance at this time will actually prepare the opponent and reduce the winning rate of subsequent actual battles. However, if I crush your hard work, you probably won't be able to accept it. An intriguing smile appeared at the corner of Yi Chen's mouth. HMPH, I don't believe that Yi Chen can surpass Yi Yuntian this time. Yes, this is the speed of a 5th-level warrior. In my opinion, Yi Yuntian just reserved his strength before and didn't use his full strength. Otherwise, he would definitely be faster than Yi Chen. Indeed, Yi Yuntian is serious about it now. Seeing Yi Yuntian's performance, the people in No. 1 Middle School also became excited and ridiculed Yi Chen. HMPH, Yi Chen must be stronger than Yi Yuntian. That's right, our Yi Chen hasn't taken action yet. People from the 2 schools started arguing with each other. Ever since Yi Chen defeated Wu Kai and defeated Yi Yuntian in the previous 3 perfect scores, Yi Chen is now a godlike existence in the hearts of the students in No. 2 Middle School. They now have some blind trust in Yi Chen. I'll do it. Yi Chen walked through the team and went to the front. He just wanted to take action after Yi Yuntian and hit Yi Yuntian hard in the face. Yi Chen took a deep breath and adjusted his breathing. The speed test does not require staff to shout slogans, because there is a speedometer at the starting point, and the tester can measure it as long as he moves. In this way, the most realistic results of the players can be better measured. After all, when you are in the wild, no one will call you start. After Yi Chen adjusted, he saw Yi Chen shoot out like a bolt of lightning, and the distance of 100 meters was within the blink of an eye. Yi Chen, 35.5 meters per second, score 50 points. 4 perfect scores, 200 points were obtained, and Yi Chen showed a satisfied smile. Yi Shen, have you seen it? I know Yi Shen is stronger. The one who just said that Yi Shen can't do it if Yi Yuntian uses all his strength, why don't you scream now? That's right, I can't even try my best. Ha, the people in No. 2 Middle School were full of ridicule, and the people in No. 1 Middle School turned red and were unable to refute. How is it possible? This speed is the speed of a 7th-level warrior. He is only a 2nd-level warrior. Yi Yuntian looked in disbelief. He thought he would win, but he didn't expect to be severely stepped on the ground by Yi Chen. When Yi Chen walked back to the number 2 middle school team, he suddenly stopped and looked at Yi Yuntian, who had a dull look on his face, and raised his eyebrows slightly. People who are familiar with Yi Chen will know that Yi Chen has a weird idea. Yi Chen stopped and said to Yi Yuntian, "Cousin, it seems that the Yi family did not do their best to train you. This makes me, a person with no background, win. I'm really sorry. Yi Chen, don't be complacent. The exam isn't over yet. Let's wait and see." Yi Yuntian just looked gloomy, but Mu Qingwan stood up first. "Oh, isn't this Miss Mu? The last time I saw you, you were still with Mr. Zhao. Why did you change people so quickly? In my opinion, Mr. Zhao is quite good. He is willing to spend tens of millions to buy Konoha flowers for you. From what I understand, my cousin may not be as willing as him." "Yi Chen, don't talk nonsense. The leaf flowers were given to me by my master. What does it have to do with Zhao Ming?" Mu Qingwan retorted with a red face. "Oh, yes, look at my memory, Mr. Zhao just failed in the bidding." Yi Chen patted his head and looked embarrassed. "It's a pity. Mr. Zhao has a good family background, and it's such a pity that he is willing to spend money." Yi Chen shook his head. "Yi Chen, if you keep talking nonsense, believe it or not, I will prevent you from getting out of here." At this time, Mu Qingwan was already furious. Okay, I won't say anything anymore." Yi Chen quickly raised his hands as if begging for mercy. At this time, Yi Yuntian's eyes looked at Mu Qingwan with a slight change. Mu Qingwan had never told him that there was Mr. Zhao. Although he didn't believe Yi Chen's words, Mu Qingwan definitely knew about Zhao Ming, and he would have to have someone check it out later. At this time, Yi Yuntian stood up and said, "Yi Chen, don't be complacent, we will see the real results in actual combat. Okay, if you, the direct descendant of the Yi family, are defeated by me, the abandoned son of the Yi family, do you think you can still sit in Yi Pengxian's position in the future? I won't bother you anymore. I'll talk about it after you defeat me. Beat you. Judging from the current results, you must have defeated me." Yi Chen's mouth is also very good, and every sentence can hit Yi Yuntian's thunder. Yi Yuntian's face looked ugly. Yi Chen was right. If he lost to the abandoned son of the Yi family, I'm afraid the ancestor would not look good on him. Some of the resources he has obtained now were obtained by defeating Yi Chen, so he has many more resources than Yi Rongshuan. If he is really defeated by then, his lineage will not be depressed, but there will probably be a lot of voices in the family. Especially since Yi Chen was exposed in public today, everyone here knew that his subsequent defeat was not just the Yi family's dissatisfaction with him. People outside may not have a good view of the Yi family, and it will also affect the Yi family's reputation, which will also have an impact on the Yi family's industry. So he made up his mind in his heart that he would never lose. Then he didn't say anything more, turned around and left. He couldn't say anything to Yi Chen, so when the time came, he would speak with the facts. If he won, these voices would disappear. "Yi Chen, you did a great job. If it weren't for you, our no. 2 middle school's grades would probably be lower today." Zhang Dingxi came forward with a smile, and Yan Sheng also followed, looking excited. "Yes, with 4 perfect scores, you have set a record in our Yuling city." Yan Sheng was very excited. Yi Chen was his student. Yi Chen had good grades, so he was naturally happy. Not to mention Yuling City, the entire Tianxiang province doesn't have it. The 4 perfect scores are probably only available in big cities like Kyoto and Magic City. Zhang Ding now wanted to surrender Yi Chen. After Yi Yuntian took action, he had already given up, but he didn't expect Yi Chen to reverse the situation by himself. Although he is now very curious about how Yi Chen became a warrior and how he reached level 10 source energy, he has a lot of questions in his mind. But he didn't ask. Firstly, it was taboo to explore the secrets of warriors. Secondly, as long as Yi Chen could lead no 2 middle school further, he didn't care where Yi Chen's power came from. Now that Yi Chen is the Thai, he is not ignorant enough to offend Yi Chen because of his curiosity. He doesn't know how to lie down even if he doesn't. Yi Chen felt very calm at this time, because he knew his own strength, so he was not surprised by this result. He smiled and said to the two of them, "This is what I should do. I am also a member of No. To middle school, so naturally I have to think about no. To middle school. Hearing these words, Zhang Ding and Yan Sheng looked at each other and saw surprise in each other's eyes. They felt that Yi Chen was not only talented, but also so humble. Such a student was really rare. Later, Zhang Ding patted Yi Chen on the shoulder and encouraged, Yi Chen, keep up the good work, I believe you will be able to achieve greater achievements. If you encounter any difficulties in the future, just come to me and I will fully support you. Quote. Yi Chen smiled and nodded, then I'll go back first. There will be actual combat tomorrow, so I still have to prepare. Look at me, I was so happy that I almost forgot that you have actual combat tomorrow. Zhang Ding slapped his forehead and said, then go back quickly, tomorrow's actual combat is more important. After bidding farewell to Zhang Ding Yan Sheng, Yi Chen pulled Chu Tian and finally squeezed out of the crowd. Everyone was so enthusiastic. After leaving the warrior gate, there were still a bunch of reporters at the door. Under the cover of Zhang Ding, Chu Tian and Yi Chen got into Chu Tian's father's car. Hurry up, Dad, or you won't be able to leave later. Chu Tian hurriedly urged as soon as he got in the car. What's the matter? You're in such a hurry. You won't cause any trouble for me, right? Chu Warong said this, but his movements were not slow. He quickly started the car and walked out of the crowd. Just as Chu Warong left, a group of reporters were chasing him. Chu Warong was also a little panicked. What trouble did you get me into? Why are so many people chasing you? Chu Warong quickly stepped on the accelerator and rushed out. Hey, Lao Chu, why are you talking? Why do you have this impression of your son? HMPH, I still don't know what you are like. You have always caused me trouble since you were a child. How dare you cause me trouble during such an important time as the college entrance examination? HMPH, let me tell you, my score today was second among the two, with a score of 170, and my speed was still perfect. Oh, you performed well, brat, the money you spent during this period was not in vain. Chu Warong also breathed a sigh of relief and smiled. What about them? Chu Warong was a little confused. Since they didn't cause trouble, what were the people chasing them doing? Chu Warong never thought that it was Yi Chen's problem. Yi Chen scratched his head in embarrassment at this time. That, uncle, should be my problem. It's okay. If something goes wrong, tell me and I will handle it. Don't be afraid. Chu Warong gave Yi Chen a completely different explanation. At this time, Chu Tian was a little annoyed. Hey, old Chu, what do you mean? If it comes to Yi Chen, you will solve it. If it comes to me, it will cause trouble. Who is your son? Chu Warong said quickly. To celebrate your good test this time, how about I give you the latest Red Dragon sports car you want as a gift when I get back? After Chu Tian heard this, his eyes lit up. Okay, I've wanted that car for a long time, ha 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 ha. I have to say that Chu Warong is still good at changing topics, but the price is a sports car worth several million to close to 10 million. Yi Chen, who are those people chasing you behind? From Chu Warong's understanding, Yi Chen has always been a very obedient child, and compared to Chu Tian, he is someone else's child. Hey, why are you chasing us? Ah Chen got perfect scores in all 4 categories this time. Those are the reporters interviewing us. Ouch, what are you doing? When Chu Warong heard Chu Tian's words, he was so frightened that he braked, throwing Chu Tian and crashing into the seat in front of him. I'm sorry, I'm a little nervous, I'll drive slower. Chu Warong said with a smile. Chu Tian rubbed his face and said, as for it, you are so excited. I am indeed a little excited, mainly because I have never seen anyone with perfect scores in 4 categories. This is my first time. I'm sorry, uncle, for causing you trouble this time. Yi Chen felt a little embarrassed. Trouble? What kind of trouble? I wish I had trouble like this every day. If Chu Tian gave me trouble like this, I would wake up laughing even in my dreams. When Chu Tian heard his father say this, he couldn't help but rolled his eyes and sighed in his heart, what a shame. Yi Chen just smiled and said, Chu Tian did well in the exam this time. If there are no accidents in the next actual battle, there is still a good chance. Chu Warong naturally knew what kind of opportunity Yi Chen was talking about, and nodded, it's indeed not bad. Thanks to you this time, Chu Tiantian got this opportunity that only top 2,000 people can get. It's okay. Chu Tian is also an A-level superpower holder, so his strength is quite good. The atmosphere in the car was very relaxed next, with several people talking and laughing. After a while, Yi Chen accidentally glanced at the rearview mirror and found that there was another car following them when they came out of the warrior building. You have such perseverance and have been pursuing it for so long. This is just a physical test and not the final result, so it shouldn't be a problem. Yi Chen was a little confused. Yi Chen was indeed thinking well. The reporters at the entrance of the Warriors building were driven away by the Warriors Alliance, telling them not to affect the candidates. The exam was not over yet. During the next few turns, Yi Chen kept paying attention to the black car behind him. As expected, they are following us, and they are probably coming for me. There are Chu Tian and Uncle in the car now, so it's a bit difficult to handle. Yi Chen was not sure whether the car behind him was what he thought. If it was, Chu Huarong and Chu Tian in the car would still be a burden. Chu Huarong only has D-level powers. Although he has abundant resources, he is only a 9th-level social warrior. Moreover, his superpower is not of the combat type and he is not good at fighting. The so-called social warriors are people who only have cultivation base and master some simple fists and kicks. They have awakened abilities such as life system and auxiliary system. There are only a few people like Chu Huarong who can break through to the 9th level of warriors, all because of their money. Chapter 91. Well, Uncle Chu, I can just go down to the supermarket in front. My sister asked me to buy him some food and go back. How about you call your sister and we go out to eat together to celebrate? No need, we have a practical test tomorrow. Let's celebrate together after the test is over. And I have to prepare for it when I go back today. Yi Chen quickly refused, fearing that Chu Huarong would not let him go. That's right, the exam is the most important thing. Then you go ahead. Let's get together again after the exam. Pay attention to safety, Chu Huarong warned. A Chen is now a warrior and is very powerful. What problems can there be? Chu Tian said a little unhappy when he saw that his father cared so much about Yi Chen. Of course, Chu Tian was not really dissatisfied with his father's kindness to Yi Chen. He just felt that his father had never treated him in this way. He felt a little uncomfortable and had no objection to Yi Chen. Yi Chen also knew that Chu Tian was just showing off his temper, so he smiled and shook his head. Okay, this is also close to where I live. I went to buy something and then went back. Yi Chen got out of the car, looked back, and found that the car had indeed stopped. The corners of his mouth raised slightly, and he thought to himself, these two people are really persistent. Then, he quickly walked to a parked motorcycle on the side of the road and used the rearview mirror to observe the situation behind it. Sure enough, two men wearing sunglasses got out of the car, and their eyes kept staring at Yi Chen. Yi Chen pretended to be nonchalant, continued walking forward, and then walked into a supermarket. Sure enough, the two people followed in, but they didn't get too close, but lingered not far from Yi Chen. While Yi Chen was selecting the products on the shelves, he paid attention to the actions of the two people. Yi Chen picked out a lot of snacks and went to check out. The two men were still following not far away, neither approaching to strike up a conversation nor leaving. Yi Chen became more and more certain that these two people were definitely not ordinary reporters. If they really have something to ask for, they can come and talk openly instead of being sneaky like now. After paying the bill, Yi Chen quickly walked to the back door of the supermarket with his shopping bag in hand. The two people saw this and hurriedly followed. Yi Chen walked out of the back door of the supermarket and came to a dark alley. This alley is relatively narrow, with various debris and garbage bags piled on both sides, emitting bursts of unpleasant smell. The whole alley is filled with a dark and damp atmosphere, which makes people feel depressed. Where are the people? One of the men looked around and didn't find Yi Chen, so he panicked. You said he won't find us, right? Another slightly shorter man asked with some uncertainty. How is it possible that you are questioning my professionalism? He is only a high school student, and he still has anti-tracking capabilities. But he has perfect scores in all 4 categories. So what if you get perfect scores in 4 categories? He's just a little brat, just a flower in the greenhouse. Don't we kill enough of these people? That's true. The shorter man nodded in agreement. Stop talking about this. He should have taken a shortcut back from here. Follow him quickly. The two of them quickened their pace and walked deeper into the alley. Soon they reached the end. There was a wall in front of them, which was a dead end. At this time, the man's phone rang, and the man quickly took out his cell phone. "Grown-ups, how's it going? Did you kill him?" The man touched the non-existent sweat on his forehead and said tremblingly, "I lost you." A cold voice came from the other end of the phone, "Lost? Then don't come back, you two." "Sir, we just lost him. He should be nearby. We will go right away." HMPH, a genius with perfect scores in 4 categories fails. You know the consequences. The person on the other end of the phone snorted coldly and hung up the phone without saying anything. After hanging up the phone, the man in sunglasses breathed a sigh of relief. "This is our last chance. We must find him today, otherwise we will all die." Another shorter man also nodded, with a scared look on his face. "He can't run far. How far can a high school student run under our noses?" the two said and turned around. In fact, if the two of them took a step forward, they would find Yi Chen behind the pile of garbage in front of them. Yi Chen completely heard the conversation between the man and the person on the phone. He immediately dialed Zhang Ding and Qin Hao's numbers and sent his location. "No, these two people are leaving. I have to keep them, otherwise I won't even know who wants to kill me." Just when the two of them turned around, Yi Chen walked out directly and struck with a lightning dragon strike. The alley was very small, and the two of them had their backs to Yi Chen. Yi Chen would definitely not be able to dodge this attack. However, with two people side by side, Yi Chen could only choose one for this blow, and it was impossible to hit two people with one blow. Yi Chen chose the one on the phone. Listening to the conversation, he found that the taller man with sunglasses had a higher status and should be stronger. It would be okay to solve the more difficult ones first. In the darkness, thunder light flashed, and a purple thunder dragon roared out, carrying endless pressure and terrifying aura, streaking across the sky like a shooting star. The lightning was like lightning, instantly penetrating the man's chest. "Ding, you successfully killed the martial artist's first-level superpower and gained 8 months of training time and a source crystal." The system's voice sounded in Yi Chen's mind, making him feel happy. I have a little less time to practice. What is this source crystal?" Yi Chen said to himself with some doubts. At this moment, the shorter man next to him recovered from the shock, and his face was suddenly splashed with blood. He turned his head suddenly and found Yi Chen standing there quietly holding a spear. "Is it you?" The man's eyes widened and he looked at Yi Chen in disbelief. However, Yi Chen would not give him any chance to talk nonsense. He quickly took action, and a handful of black powder came out from his hand, covering the opponent's eyes. He had just bought a large bag of coconut shell powder in the supermarket just to have such a sinister opportunity at this time. "What?" The man waved his hands quickly to disperse. But he took a step slower, and his eyes were still blurred. Yi Chen seized the opportunity and shot out. But this time he didn't succeed. The man opened his eyes with difficulty and ducked to the side, barely dodging the shot. However, his left arm was still stabbed through. "What a pity," Yi Chen sighed. "You were looking for death." The man roared in pain. His right hand suddenly enlarged and turned into a giant hammer, and then it hit Yi Chen. Too slow. Yi Chen directly used his instant shadow and 7-star steps together, easily dodged the blow and came to his back. "I'll see how you hide this time." Yi Chen used the Thunder Dragon breaking sky strike again and stabbed him directly. "Ding, you successfully killed the warrior with level 8 superpowers and gained 5 months of training time and a source crystal." The system's voice sounded again. "It's a pity that there is no superpower, but what exactly is this source crystal?" "Forget it, let's go back and study it. Let's deal with the things here first." Yi Chen looked at the two people on the ground. They both died in the same way. Both had a big hole stabbed in their chests, but one fell forward and the other fell backward. Within a few minutes, Qin Hao fell from the sky. When Yi Chen saw Qin Hao falling from the sky, he couldn't help but sigh. It would be great if he could fly. "Inspector Qin." Yi Chen bowed politely. "What's going on? Are you injured?" Qin Hao asked with concern as soon as he landed. Previously, he had promised Feng Lian that nothing would happen to Yi Chen in Yuling City, but he almost got slapped in the face. If something really happened to Yi Chen, he wouldn't be able to explain it to Feng Lian. Feng Lian's status in Wudu University was higher than that of some teachers, so I don't blame him for being anxious. Yi Chen was very calm. He hugged Ben Lei with both hands and raised his chin to gesture to the two people lying on the ground. Well, I'm fine. Those two on the ground should be dead. This is not the first time Yi Chen has killed someone. Now he can accept it calmly. If you don't kill him, you will die. As long as you're fine, these two will die if they die. Are they from the Yi family? Yi Chen shook his head. I don't know. I found someone following me on the way back from the exam today, and then I led them here, and that's it. Qin Hao breathed a sigh of relief when he saw that Yi Chen was indeed fine. You are brave. Since you have discovered that someone is following you, why don't you delay for a while and wait for me to come? I wasn't sure at first if these two people were coming for me. At first I thought they were reporters. When I got here later, I heard them calling and I confirmed that they were coming to kill me. And the opportunity is very good. My back is turned to me. It would be a pity if I didn't take action. By the way, my phone is here. Yi Chen took out a mobile phone from his pocket and handed it to Qin Hao. These two people should have superiors. They were still in contact with the person on the phone just now. You can check. Okay, I'll send someone to deal with the scene later. You don't have to worry about it. It will be easier now that we can confirm that they killed you. Qin Hao took the phone and put in his energy storage bracelet. After a while, many people came to this alley. All of them were Qin Hao's men, and Zhang Ding also came. But when Zhang Ding arrived, he saw Qin Hao there and almost scared him to death. After understanding the situation, he also cared about Yi Chen very much. Now Yi Chen is the treasure of No. 2 middle school, so he can't have any accidents. Yi Chen spent a lot of words to convince Zhang Ding that he was fine, but Zhang Ding still looked worried. Yi Chen saw that he had nothing to do here, so he asked him to go back first. Zhang Ding saw that Qin Hao was also there, and felt reassured about Yi Chen's safety, so he went back first. Yi Chen was still very touched. No matter what Zhang Ding's reasons were, whether he was useful to No. 2 middle school or he really cared about himself, at least he was really thinking about Yi Chen. It's understandable that a gentleman will comment on his deeds but not his heart. Not long after, a man in uniform walked up to Qin Hao. The inspector is from the church on the other side. Qin Hao's face was a little ugly. He thought he was from the Yi family, but he didn't expect that he was actually from the other side church. Are you sure? Qin Hao asked again. This is no small matter. Anyone related to the church on the other side is very difficult to deal with. The man nodded. Well, one of them has a tattoo of a purple hibiscus flower on his back. It can't be wrong. Only one person has it. Well, the one with the tattoo is a martial artist, and the other is just a martial artist, and should be just a peripheral member. Qin Hao nodded. It should be, huh? What did you say, martial artist? Ah, yes. The man was also stunned for a moment. Qin Hao turned around and looked at Yi Chen, a little incredulous. Did you really kill him? Yi Chen scratched his head and said, it was just a fluke. The sneak attack was successful. Qin Hao looked at Qin Hao with deep meaning. You kid, what state are you in now? The warrior is at the 2nd level. I just took the test today. Being able to counter-kill a martial artist and warriors close to the martial arts master with the 2nd level cultivation level of a martial artist is not something that can be achieved by luck. At this time, Yi Chen's weight in Qin Hao's heart became heavier. As a student of Mowu, he knows best that what Mowu values is not cultivation, but combat power. Mowu trains elites who can fight 1 against 100 on the battlefield. You are indeed very suitable for Mowu. Yi Chen was confused by Qin Hao's inexplicable words. You will know in the future, you will definitely do great things after joining Mowu. Then maybe I will have to rely on you to protect me. Qin Hao laughed. Then I'll borrow the inspector's blessing, but now I still have to rely on the inspector to protect me. The person reporting the situation heard the conversation between the two and opened his mouth without knowing it. These two people were actually killed by the young martial artist in front of them, and it sounds like he was escorted by Mowu and had a good relationship with the inspector. Every piece of information was enough to set off a storm in his heart. Oh, by the way, this matter may have something to do with the Warrior Alliance. You can pay more attention when inspecting. Yi Chen suddenly said as if he remembered something. After hearing Yi Chen's words, Qin Hao also became serious. Have you discovered anything? Don't say this nonsense. The Warriors Alliance is the backbone of the Federation. If there are geniuses who kill humans in the Alliance, it means that this pillar is corrupted from within. The survival of human beings in this world depends not only on the protection of powerful warriors, but also on the fact that if someone falls in front, there will be someone behind to pick up the slack. It can be said that talents are the most important thing in the Federation. If talents wither, then mankind may not be far from extinction. Yi Chen also knew the importance of the Warrior Alliance. He just doubted it and did not say that his death was related to the Warrior Alliance. These two people followed me as soon as I left the Warriors Alliance building. Qin Hao shook his head. This doesn't mean it has anything to do with the Alliance. And, the target of these two people was me from the beginning. There was a classmate of mine who was with me at the time. He also did well in the exam, but these two people didn't care about him. And when that person was on the phone, I heard the person on the phone talking about the genius who killed 4 perfect scores. As soon as I finished the exam, how did these two people know that I did well in the exam? Even the reporters blocking the door didn't know that the person with perfect scores in 4 items was me at the beginning, so I slipped away. How were they sure it was me? Don't you think it's too strange? 4 perfect scores. You gave me another surprise. Qin Hao's focus was indeed a bit strange. Yi Chen was ashamed. He really wasn't showing off his perfect scores in 4 categories. Well, he was still a little bit. That's not the point. The point is how they can be sure it's mine. Qin Hao touched his chin. Well, what you said makes sense, but at that time, it was not only the people in the Warriors Alliance who knew that you had perfect scores in 4 items, but also everyone who took the test with you. Yi Chen was stunned. This is also true, I didn't think of it at first. There are many doubts about this matter. We have no evidence to investigate the Warriors Alliance, so we can only investigate it secretly. Don't worry, you can prepare for the exam with peace of mind. I will check this matter and let you know if there is any progress. Yi Chen nodded. Okay, I'll go back first. Oh, by the way, there are rewards for killing the warriors of the Church of the Other Side. The people you killed this time were also warriors. You can get at least a 1 million bonus. It's not much money. Please understand. Give me your account. Quote. Yi Chen was a little surprised. He didn't expect to get an unexpected gain. Although the money was indeed not much, no matter how small the mosquito legs were, they were still meat. Yi Chen told Qin Hao his account and went back. It didn't take long for the money to arrive. Yi Chen now has a total of more than 4 million in his account. Well, it's a bit missing. You can only buy 2 lava fires, so you really can't do much, but it still feels good to collect money. Yi Chen was walking home alone, his face looking particularly solemn. Although when he just faced Qin Hao, he deliberately pretended to be relaxed, as if killing those 2 people was just a piece of cake for him. But in fact, only he knew in his heart that if he had a head-on confrontation with those 2 people, even if he was confident that he could defeat them, he would probably be seriously injured. What's more, he didn't know what the powers those 2 people possessed were, which undoubtedly increased the variables in the battle. If something unexpected happens, he might be the one who falls here today. What worries Yi Chen even more is that the Church of the Other Side has already targeted him. When Zhang Shang mentioned to him the existence of the Church on the Other Side, Yi Chen realized that this day would come sooner or later. After all, with his talent, he will definitely attract the attention of the Church on the Other Side. However, he never expected that this day would come so quickly. Just because of a 200-point physical test, the Church of the Other Side actually sent masters above the martial arts level to assassinate him. Oh, this is troublesome. It's better to finish the exam quickly and leave here as soon as possible. It's too dangerous to stay in Yuling City, and Inspector Qin can't guard me every day. Yi Chen pondered while thinking. Quicken your pace and walk home. After returning home, he saw Yi Qingyao waiting for him at the door with a smile on his face. Why are you here? It's not like your brother can't be found. Yi Chen touched Yi Qingyao's head. Isn't this so exciting? Today is the first day of the martial arts test. Yi Qingyao pouted and took Yi Chen's hand away. Ha 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 ha, you are more anxious than me. Let's go in and talk. Yi Chen pulled Yi Qingyao into the house. Brother, tell me about your test today. Yi Qingyao ran over like a rabbit, waving his arms excitedly, and even played a set of tortoise punches. Her liveliness and cuteness made Yi Chen laugh, and the heavy emotions in his heart gradually relaxed. With such a lovely sister, the troubles in life seemed to become insignificant. This may be the meaning of family, they can always provide support and comfort when needed most. Yi Chen smiled and told Yi Qingyao everything about today's experience. Of course, he omitted the thrilling plot of encountering the church of the other side later. After all, it's better not to let my sister know about those dangerous things. Hearing her brother's description, Yi Qingyao raised her head proudly, with a proud expression on her face. Humph, what a number. 1 middle school, you are nothing in front of my brother. As if she herself was the one who defeated No. 1 middle school. In fact, when Yi Chen left the Yi family, Yi Qingyao was just 5 years old and had almost no memory of anything about the Yi family. Moreover, Yi Chen never mentioned anything about the Yi family to her. He always worked hard outside quietly, sometimes even returning home with injuries. Every time Yi Qingyao asked, Yi Chen would say in a relaxed tone that the wound was caused by an accidental fall. But as time went by, Yi Qingyao grew up and naturally understood how someone could fall so frequently. However, she still didn't know what kind of job her brother was doing and why he was always injured. Yi Qingyao once asked Yi Chen, but Yi Chen cleverly avoided him every time. Yi Chen thinks that Yi Qingyao is still young and in poor health. If she knows the truth, it will only make her life with hatred more difficult. Just let him bear the hatred of the Yi family alone. Oh, by the way, I have something to tell you. Yi Chen suddenly remembered something and said. Yi Qingyao was still excited. Yi Chen pushed Yi Qingyao to the sofa. Listen carefully. Your brother's test today slapped No. 1 middle school in the face. They hate me now and don't dare to do anything to me blatantly. Yi Chen looked serious, but I can't guarantee what they will do to you, so don't order takeout for the next few days. I will prepare the food for you, and you will stay at home for a few days as a precaution. Ah, will I take revenge on you? Yi Qingyao was a little scared, and the excitement just now disappeared all of a sudden. Yi Chen touched Yi Qingyao's head and comforted him. It's just a precaution. After all, your brother is very strong now. It's okay to deal with me. I'm afraid of dealing with you. But this is the worst case scenario, so you don't have to worry too much. After I finish my exams in the next few days, I will take you out to play, okay? Yi Qingyao nodded seriously. Okay, tell me what you want to eat, and I'll buy it all for you. Yi Qingyao was still very nervous at first, but looking at the dazzling array of food on the phone, Yi Qingyao was completely immersed in it, and the fear just now disappeared without a trace. Yi Chen shook his head helplessly. Children aged 11 or 12 are at the age when they are full of desire for food. His worries are not unnecessary. In the city, the Yi family may not take action easily, but now that they have provoked the church of the other side, the situation has become unpredictable. After buying food for Yi Qingyao, Yi Chen also made a special phone call with Qin Hao, telling him to pay more attention and protect Yi Qingyao. Qin Hao agreed without hesitation and his attitude was straightforward. After a while, Yi Chen looked at the piles of food bags in the living room and couldn't help but feel a headache. I'm only away for a few days. You bought so much, can you finish it? Yi Qingyao replied nonchalantly. It's nothing at all, it's just trivial. This food is enough for Yi Qingyao to eat for a month, and she has learned to use some simple heating equipment in the kitchen, so Yi Chen no longer needs to worry about it. After dinner, Yi Chen went straight to the training room in the basement. You still need to be strong to make iron. Before the church on the other side sends more powerful enemies, I must make myself stronger. Yi Chen clenched his fist tightly, his eyes flashing with determination. Hey, the 2 people I killed just now also exploded some source crystals, what is that thing? Yi Chen took out 2 irregular crystals from the system space. The crystals were yellow, just like mineral crystals in nature. Ever since Yi Chen reported the items except for the training time, Yi Chen discovered that the system had its own space. It's just that currently this space can only store items exploded by killing enemies, and cannot store other items. So Yi Chen still had to use his own energy storage bracelet. Yi Chen looked at the crystal in his hand. System, what is this source crystal? Ding! Source crystal is crystallized from the source sea of life forms, and it can accelerate the transformation of the source sea. What? Accelerate the transformation of Yuan Hai? Yi Chen stood up immediately. I didn't expect that people from the other side church would give me a surprise. This is not a killer, this is a noble person. Yi Chen looked excited. Just now, Yi Chen was very afraid of the church of the other side, but now he just wants to kill more people from the church of the other side. These two source crystals came at the perfect time, as I urgently need to improve my strength. Yi Chen thought excitedly, his eyes shining with anticipation. He felt his source sea and found that part of it had been transformed into gold, and it was not far away from completely turning into a sea of gold. By the way, doesn't my blue spirit brew heal injuries? I don't know if it can heal Yuan Hai's injuries. Give it a try. Yi Chen suddenly thought of his blue spirit brew, and a glimmer of hope surged in his heart. He had previously tested the efficacy of blue spirit brew on trauma, and the effect was excellent. If it could heal Yuan Hai's injuries, it would be a surprising discovery. System: use 2 days of practice on the forging method, Yi Chen said in a low voice. As his voice fell, a huge hammer emerged from his origin sea, and then he smashed it down hard. Yi Chen's face instantly turned pale, the corners of his mouth trembled slightly, and a thin layer of sweat appeared on his forehead. No, the 2 days of training now can only make me feel pain, but cannot cause actual injuries. Yi Chen frowned. After some thought, Yi Chen gritted his teeth and made up his mind, give me 5 more days. In an instant, a hammer larger than before appeared in his origin sea and smashed it down hard. This time, Yi Chen felt a sharp pain, as if his entire soul was being torn apart. He couldn't help but let out a scream, his body trembled violently, and he spit out a mouthful of blood. 3 extra days, why is the gap so big? Yi Chen complained. Yi Chen did not hesitate to summon the divine brewing gourd, raised his head and drank the blue spirit brewing inside. A cool feeling spread throughout his body instantly, as if there was a magical force repairing his body and Yuan Hai. Finally, when the severe pain gradually disappeared, Yi Chen discovered that some changes had taken place in his origin sea. The originally broken source sea began to slowly heal, and the golden source power became more abundant and flowed more smoothly. He was ecstatic. Sure enough, it can heal the source sea. Now I might be able to transform into the gold sea tomorrow. Yi Chen just like this, the source energy in his body was exhausted, so he spent a day practicing on the 9 Nether Thunder Art, which did not increase the total amount of source energy but just restored the consumed source energy. Of course, this is because he is in the training room and no one disturbs him, so he can use this method to restore source energy. If you are in battle, if you use this method, your opponent will accidentally interrupt the operation of the skill, and then go crazy. Therefore, during the battle, Yi Chen still had to use spirit storage wine to restore source energy. Yi Chen then used the recovered source energy to brew blue spirit brew, and then practiced the forging method, and the cycle continued. In this way, Yi Chen stopped practicing for about 5 or 6 hours. Most of these 5 or 6 hours were not practicing the iron forging method, but brewing blue spirit brew, otherwise the time would be accelerated. Yi Chen slowly opened his eyes and exhaled a breath of turbid air. Now the source sea has basically turned into gold, and only the last bit is left, which cannot be transformed no matter what. Yi Chen frowned, thinking secretly in his heart. Yi Chen originally thought that he didn't need anything else. With long-term practice, he could successfully transform the source sea into the golden sea. However, reality poured cold water on him and made him realize that things were not that simple. After all, the golden sea is the last stage of the origin sea. From ancient times to the present, there are not many people with extraordinary talents, but there are only a few people who can cultivate the golden sea. The reason for this is probably not only because it takes a lot of time, but also has a close relationship with the last trace of source energy that is difficult to convert. However, Yi Chen was not too worried. He still has 2 precious source crystals and a thunder bead in his hand that have not yet been used. He does not believe that these things will not allow him to break through. Yi Chen took out a source crystal and carefully placed it on his dantian. Then he closed his eyes and began to guide and absorb the energy in the source crystal. Instantly, he felt a gentle and comfortable energy pouring into Yuan Hai from his dantian. Ah, Yi Chen let out a shameful groan. This was the first time since his awakening that he felt so comfortable practicing. When he used his training time to practice before, it made him extremely painful, making him feel that practicing was painful. I didn't expect that absorbing the source crystal would be so comfortable. I thought it would be painful. Yi Chen was a little surprised. The source crystal turned into tiny wisps of energy, swimming in Yi Chen's source sea. Huh, you're actually repairing the hidden wounds I left when I practiced the forging method before. Yi Chen had a hint of surprise in his eyes. The practice of forging iron is a process of forging iron. This simple and violent practice method will inevitably leave some hidden injuries, which Yi Chen has not noticed before. Now when the energy of the source crystal began to repair these injuries, Yi Chen felt it. The energy of the source crystal quickly repaired these hidden injuries, and then the excess energy surged into the last unconverted silver source energy, wrapping it up and slowly seeping into it. It turns out that it's transformed like this. The energy of the source crystal is integrated into it, just like assimilation. But I'm afraid the energy after repairing the hidden damage is not enough. Sure enough, as Yi Chen expected, the energy of this source crystal was quickly exhausted. Part of the last strand of source energy was glowing with yellow. Yi Chen was not disappointed, but was very happy. This shows that the last trace of source energy can be transformed by the energy of the source crystal, and he still has one in his hand. Yi Chen took out a source crystal again and guided it to absorb as before. This time, the energy of the source crystal completely enveloped the silk source energy, like a golden silkworm cocoon. Yi Chen just waited quietly. After a while, the energy of the source crystal was completely integrated into it, and the last trace of source energy turned into bright gold. At the moment when the trace of source energy turned into gold, Yi Chen's source sea burst out with intense golden light. When the golden light dissipated, Yi Chen found that his source sea had been transformed into a golden sea. Like when the copper sea and silver sea were transformed before, after the source energy was transformed, it was slowly influenced by the source sea to complete the transformation. Unexpectedly, this step has been omitted directly now. Yi Chen circulated the source energy and felt the changes brought about by the transformation of the source sea. As soon as Yi Chen raised his hand, a lightning bolt as thick as an arm struck the wall of the training room, and a huge hole was created in the wall. So strong. This training room can withstand attacks from martial arts masters. I didn't expect that my casual blow would blow a hole in it. If I meet those two people from the other shore church now, I can defeat them both in a head-on battle. Yi Chen said confidently. Yi Chen was not exaggerating at all. In the Golden Sea of Origin, there may not be more than 2 hands among humans who can cultivate it. The gold content in it is self-evident. It is really incredible that such a yuan cannot leapfrog and kill the enemy. Ha ha ha, now that the transformation of my Golden Sea has been completed, your time can also be used to repair the system. Yi Chen looked delighted. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Warrior Level 2, late stage of Tongmei. Powers, Meteor Divine Thunder S level, Divine Brewing Gourd S level, Shadow S level. Skills, 9 Nether Thunder Jew S level, Thunder Fire Body Tempering Technique, a level Iron Forging Technique C level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike, Small Success, 7-star Steps, High Success, Instant Shadow, High Success. Power Points, 50,000. Training Time, 8 years and 1 month. It actually took more than 8 years of practice. I thought it took a lot to practice the iron forging method, but there are still so many. Yi Chen was a little surprised. But what should I do with my thunder bead? Now that my source energy has been converted, is it useless? Yi Chen searched for relevant information on the Warrior Forum, but could not find the answer, mainly because no one had cultivated to the level of Janae. Can I still improve after arriving at Janae? An idea suddenly popped up in Yi Chen's mind. Now that you have an idea, give it a try. He closed his eyes, took a deep breath, mobilized the power in his body, and then used the forging method to start condensing a huge hammer. Now that Yi Chen has mastered this technique very proficiently, the giant hammer he condensed is not only more solid than before, but the shape of the hammer has also become more refined. Yi Chen controlled the giant hammer and struck it towards the Golden Sea. The giant hammer suddenly shattered and turned into countless fragments scattered in the Golden Sea. However, the golden sea only had a slight ripple, and was not shaken as easily as he imagined. Ah, it's so hard. The hammer broke into pieces and Jinhai didn't react at all. Yi Chen said to himself in surprise. He originally thought that the giant hammer could at least create some waves, but now it seems that the strength of Jinhai far exceeds his expectations. But Yi Chen didn't give up, he decided to try again. This time, he once again condensed a hammer in the source sea, but this hammer was different from the previous one. Its surface flashed with purple lightning, like a mysterious rune. That's right, Yi Chen integrated the meteorite thunder into the hammer, trying to use the power of the divine thunder to enhance the power of the hammer. When Yi Chen controlled the hammer with the power of divine thunder to bombard Jinhai again, Jinhai finally showed an obvious reaction. The hammer smashed into the golden sea, causing a wave of spray and a raging wave. The calmness of the golden sea was broken, and the waves rolled, forming ripples that continued to spread outward. Although the golden sea fluctuated, the source energy did not change, or there was a change, but Yi Chen did not feel it. If it can be smashed, it means there is a chance. Yi Chen also regained his energy and directly used 10 days of training time to condense the giant hammer, and then merged it into the sky meteor divine thunder. Now the power of this hammer is extraordinary. With one hammer blow, even though Yi Chen's golden sea is very tough, it still creates a huge hole. Yi Chen's face turned pale, but Yi Chen was very happy. Because he sensed that his Jinhai had actually changed. It can work. Maybe I will create a new realm of origin sea. Yi Chen looked excited, as if he had seen a new continent. There are still more than 8 years of training time. You can still squander it. If you don't have it, you can just kill again. But if you miss this realm, you will really miss it. Yi Chen was cruel and continued to use his training time to forge the source sea. Finally, with Yi Chen's efforts, a purple source energy appeared in Yi Chen's source sea. In Yi Chen's perception, this ray of source energy was full of explosive power, just like the condensed body of the meteorite thunder. This ray of source energy is equivalent to 3 rays of golden source energy, which means that at the same level, his strength is probably more than 10 times that of the Silver Sea Warrior. Those who have transformed into Yinhai are already geniuses. For those ordinary people who have not transformed, Yi Chen is at least dozens of times stronger than them. What does this mean? It means 4 words, invincible at the same level. Yi Chen continued to practice, and by the second half of the night, more than half of the source energy in the source sea had been converted into purple. The transformation speed is faster than when it was transformed into Jinhai before, which may be related to Yi Chen using more training time at a time. However, the cultivation time has also consumed more than 4 years, and there are still 3 years and 8 months left. That's almost it. Let's take the thunder beads directly. Yi Chen had already bought the items needed to absorb the lightning beads before, so there was no need to prepare any more. The facilities of this training room are quite complete, not only equipped with a bathroom, but also a large and spacious bathtub. Yi Chen was very satisfied with this, because he just needed such an environment for the next step of practice. He turned on the faucet, filled the bathtub with warm water, then took out a medicine bag from the energy storage bracelet and put it into the water. The medicine pack quickly dissolved and merged with the water, and the originally clear warm water instantly turned as green as emerald. This medicine pack has multiple functions, including tempering the body, treating injuries, and improving absorption efficiency. It is very useful for absorbing lightning beads. Yi Chen took off his clothes, stepped into the bathtub, and felt the warm water temperature. Then, he put the thunder bead into his mouth and bit it hard. The shell of the thunder bead shattered instantly, and a burning feeling immediately spread throughout his mouth. The thunder bead is divided into 2 layers. The outer layer is for external use, and the inner layer contains precious spiritual liquid and can be taken internally. Yi Chen swallowed the spirit fluid of the thunder bead, spit out the remaining shell and threw it into the bathtub. When the shell came into contact with the turquoise liquid, a strange thing happened. Purple lightning appeared in the liquid, and the entire bathtub was shrouded in lightning, making it look very mysterious. After the spirit fluid of the thunder bead entered the body, Yi Chen immediately felt a violent energy raging in his veins. This kind of power seemed to break through his meridians, making him feel extremely uncomfortable. Yi Chen's forehead began to ooze fine beads of sweat, and he frowned, trying hard to endure the unspeakable pain. The power in his meridians seemed to be completely out of control, impacting his body crazily and causing him tremendous pressure. Finally, under Yi Chen's relay guidance, all the spirit liquid energy of the thunder beam entered Yi Chen's source C. Fortunately, Yi Chen was already in the late stage of meridians, and the meridians were strong enough. Otherwise, some of the meridians would be broken and the energy of the spiritual liquid would be lost. After the spiritual liquid energy enters the source C, it directly turns into violent thunder and lightning and bombards the source C. If it were anyone else, this moment would probably feel unbearable pain, but Yi Chen had experienced the baptism of the forging hammer method countless times. This little pain was already a piece of cake for him. As thunder and lightning continued to bombard the source C, energy was integrated into it with each bombardment. Yi Chen could clearly feel that the source energy was being transformed. It is indeed a treasure of heaven and earth. The effect is really good. Yi Chen couldn't help but sigh. Yi Chen didn't know that because he absorbed it perfectly, the effect was so significant. If it were anyone else, part of the energy would be lost when swallowing the spiritual fluid. When the energy enters the source C, Yi Chen's heavenly meteor god thunder itself is a top-notch thunder power, which has a natural suppressive power on the energy of the spiritual liquid. Therefore, Yi Chen can better control this energy, while others may be helpless in the face of this disobedient energy, and the absorption effect will be much worse. At the same time, the medicinal solution in the bathtub gradually took effect, and Yi Chen felt a tingling sensation on his skin. This should be the energy from the shell of the thunder bead quenching his body. Yi Chen just lay quietly in the bathtub, enjoying the transformation inside and outside. Unknowingly, he fell asleep. It wasn't until morning that Yi Chen opened his eyes in a daze. I actually fell asleep. I haven't slept so comfortably for a long time. Yi Chen stretched out a lot. Since his awakening, he has been busy practicing and has almost never rested. He also sleeps very little. There is no such thing as a completely empty sleep like today. Yi Chen found that there was a layer of black stuff on his arm, which was like black grease and sticky. Looking at the liquid in the bathtub, the original turquoise liquid has now turned black and smells bad. What's going on? It looks like a smelly ditch. Yi Chen pinched his nose and stood up. In fact, these black things are impurities in Yi Chen's body. Under the action of the thunder bead shell and the medicinal liquid, the impurities in the skin and flesh are discharged. Although Yi Chen is currently in the late stage of Tongmei, the strength of the meridians is mainly tempered in this realm. The skin and flesh will not be tempered until the next realm, the bone-forging realm. However, after this body tempering, Yi Chen's next body training will be smoother. Yi Chen went to wash his body and put on clean clothes. As expected of the Thunder Pearl, my origin sea has completely turned purple. I'm afraid senior sister Feng Lian didn't expect that I could transform my origin energy so quickly. The corner of Yi Chen's mouth curled up, feeling a little proud. But it's a pity that I don't have time to improve my cultivation level, but it's okay. The actual combat assessment will take a few days, and I will improve it then. System, open the panel. Host, Yi Chen. Realm, Warrior Level 2, late stage of Tongmei. Powers, Meteor Divine Thunder S level, Divine Brewing Gourd S level, Shadow S level. Skills, 9 Nether Thunder Jew S level, Thunder Fire Body Tempering Technique, a level, Iron Forging Technique C level. Combat Skills, Thunder Dragon Breaking Sky Strike, Small Success, 7-star Steps, High Success, Instant Shadow, High Success. Power Points, 50,000. Training Time, 3 years and 8 months. There was no change in the power points. When he killed the 2 killers from the church of the other side, no power points exploded, which surprised Yi Chen. But he didn't think much about it. Maybe the power points were replaced by source crystals. It's only been more than 3 years. We need to harvest it properly during actual combat. For Yi Chen, training time is like the balance in a bank card, and he always has to have some savings to feel at ease. Whether it is necessary or not is 2 different things. It's 8:15, I'm going to be late. Yi Chen looked at the time and saw that there were only 15 minutes left. Yi Chen quickly put on his energy storage bracelet and hurried out the door without even eating. Brother, come on. Yi Qingyao looked at Yi Chen's back and said loudly. Don't worry. Yi Chen didn't even look back, he just waved his hand to signal Yi Qingyao not to worry. Yi Chen lives in an urban area with a lot of vehicles. This is also the rush hour for work, so it is better to walk faster than taking a taxi. Yi Chen looked at the time anxiously. Forget it, use your powers. The Chinese Federation has regulations that prohibit the use of supernatural powers in urban areas, especially in crowded places. But now Yi Chen can't control that much. He will be late if he doesn't use it, and it's also because of the college entrance examination. As long as he doesn't disrupt public order, it shouldn't be a big problem. After weighing the pros and cons, Yi Chen no longer hesitated. Purple arcs of electricity emerged from under his feet and kept moving through the crowd. Mom, there is Superman. Wow, look how powerful that person is, he can actually control thunder and lightning. A young girl shouted in surprise. Yeah, I really didn't expect to see such a powerful person here. I wish I could be like him. Another boy said enviously. Hearing these words, Yi Chen felt a little proud, but he did not stop and instead accelerated his pace a bit. Yi Chen's behavior still caused quite a stir, and people stopped and looked at Yi Chen. However, the movement here quickly attracted the attention of the traffic police. Classmate, this is an urban area and the use of supernatural powers is prohibited. Please stop, a traffic policeman wearing a yellow vest said loudly, chasing Yi Chen behind. I'm really sorry. I'm a candidate for the college entrance examination today. I'm going to be late. I'm in a hurry. I'm from No. 2 Middle School. You can check. Yi Chen's voice gradually faded away, and there was no way the traffic policeman could catch up with him. He stopped and said breathlessly, college entrance examination candidates. Are today's students already so defiant? He was also a warrior-level superpower, but his speed was nothing compared to Yi Chen. Did you hear that? He is a college entrance examination candidate. He is so good at such a young age. A girl had stars in her eyes and looked like a nymphomaniac. It seems like he is from No. 2 Middle School. Are the students from No. 2 Middle School so good? I thought he was from No. 1 Middle School. I will also let my child go to No. 2 Middle School in the future. There was a lot of chatter in the crowd, and Yi Chen didn't know that his words had unintentionally promoted a wave of publicity for No. 2 Middle School. Soon, Yi Chen arrived at the square at the entrance of the Warrior Building. Why did you come here? You were almost late. As soon as Yi Chen arrived, Chu Tian came up to him with a worried look on his face. Yi Chen scratched his head in embarrassment, slept over. Chu Tian's head turned dark. I thought my mentality was good enough, but I didn't expect you to be even better. You could even sleep through the actual combat test. When Zhang Ding saw Yi Chen arriving, he also came over. Just come. Did you encounter anything on the way? There were sparks and lightning all the way around Yi Chen, but Zhang Ding still saw it. Ah, I slept and was stuck in traffic. I used my powers to rush on my way without time. I'm afraid the traffic police will come to ask questions later. Yi Chen said sarcastically. As long as you catch up, you don't have to worry about the rest. I'll take care of it later, and you can just prepare the next thing. Yi Chen nodded. Next, the actual combat rules will be read out. This actual combat lasted for 3 days. A point system is adopted in actual combat. Hunting a first-level awakened beast is worth 1 point, a second-level awakened beast is 2 points, and so on. A warrior's first-level alien beast will be worth 100 points, and a second-level beast will be worth 200 points. Each time the level is improved, 100 points will be added. Next, we will distribute a scoring bracelet that can record your scores. There is also a help button on it. When you encounter a crisis, you can press it and there will be a shield to protect you. But after pressing the button, your assessment will end here. You can choose on your own. There are 3 anti-grain potions in the scoring ring, which are your food for the past 3 days. Please be careful. The next step is to sign the certificate of life and death. If you regret it, it's not too late. After Director Li read out the rules, the staff went down to distribute point bracelets and books of life and death. After all, it is a practical assessment, and there will always be accidents. Some students may be killed without being able to press the shield. This happens every year. Of course, if you die, the Alliance will send a compensation payment to your family, and the treatment is pretty good. Death is inevitable. The bracelet issued by the Warrior Alliance can withstand martial artist level attacks. As long as you press it out, there is basically no danger to your life. Therefore, the mortality rate in the college entrance examination is not high, less than 1,000th, but there are still some students with a bad mentality who give up here, which is normal. Soon Yi Chen got his points bracelet. The bracelet was not big. Yi Chen put it on his other hand and signed the certificate of life and death. After all preparations were completed, everyone got on buses and took them to the examination room. Soon everyone arrived at an open space in the suburbs. There were several mechanical doors in the open space. Just when everyone was confused, a voice suddenly sounded, "Next, we will draw lots. Those who draw the corresponding serial number will enter the corresponding portal and you will be teleported to the corresponding location." After hearing this, the crowd started talking. Yi Chen was shocked. In previous years, there was no such link. Everyone entered through the same portal. But this year, this link was added, which surprised him a little. In previous years, when everyone entered from one place, some people would form teams in advance. Like some rich people, it is entirely possible for a few strong people to bring him to a good score. However, this method will not affect the students who enter the two majors. No one is absolutely sure of entering the two majors. If you bring someone with you and lose a few points, you may fall out of the ranking and be unable to enter the two majors. Moreover, even if someone enters the two majors through improper means, they will undergo a strict assessment during admission. If they are not strong enough, they will still be dropped out of school. Therefore, this change will not have a big impact on the two companies. But it's different for ordinary martial arts schools or even Sifang martial arts school. Every year, people enter Sifang martial arts school through this method. Of course, not many people enter this way. But there are many people who enter ordinary martial arts schools through this method. This random drawing method can still increase fairness to a certain extent, but it is impossible to guarantee complete fairness. Even if you enter randomly, they are still likely to meet in the examination room and form a team. This is unavoidable. However, there is no absolute fairness in this world. Everyone's abilities are different. Some are good at fighting and some are good at assisting, but their assessment is the same. Is this fair? The Federation does not have so many resources to conduct targeted assessments, and even if you are an auxiliary, you still have the ability to kill strange beasts at a low level. Yi Chen originally planned to take Chu Tian with him to take the exam, but now it seems that he can only resign himself to fate. After all, whether they can be assigned to the same area depends entirely on the result of the draw. When the lot was drawn next, Yi Chen and Chu Tian drew numbers together. Yi Chen drew number 1, and Chu Tian drew number 8. Yi Chen frowned slightly. "Fat man, when you go in later, give priority to ensuring your own survival, and wait for me to come find you. Especially when you meet Yi Yuntian and Feng Wei from number 1 middle school, don't hesitate and run away," Yi Chen warned. With Chu Tian's ability, it is very difficult to enter the top 2,000 if everything goes well. If he is eliminated early, there will be no chance at all. Chu Tian also understood the importance of it. He no longer had the playful smile of the past and nodded. "Well, I try my best to hunt strange beasts while ensuring safety. Don't worry, my superpower is about speed, so running away won't be a big problem." Chu Tian patted Yi Chen on the shoulder and comforted him. Yi Chen also understood that it was useless to say more now, he could only find Chu Tian as soon as possible. Yi Yuntian and Feng returned to a number 3 and a number 5, but Mu Wanqing and Yi Yuntian were assigned to the same entrance, both no. 3. Mu Wanqing was very happy. "Yuntian, the two of us share an examination room. We will definitely surpass Yi Chen this time." There was no expression on Yi Yuntian's face, he just said coldly, "Exceed. I want him to die." It's just that the voice was so small that Mu Wanqing didn't hear it. After Yi Chen walked into the mechanical door, he felt a dizzy feeling as if the whole world was spinning. When he came back to his senses, the scene in front of him had a completely new look, and what lay before him was a dilapidated ruins. This so-called portal technology is actually still in the stage of successful development and is not yet fully mature. Not only is it unable to achieve long-distance teleportation, but even the construction of the teleportation gate itself is quite tricky. More importantly, this kind of teleportation gate has limitations and can only be used for fixed-point teleportation. In other words, only by setting up portals at two specific locations and linking them to each other can the function of teleporting from one end to the other be realized. For example, it is like a pipe connecting both ends, allowing people to pass through it. But the ruins Yi Chen saw now were once a prosperous city. However, now the city has long since fallen and turned into a deserted land. As time goes by, this place has long been covered by various dense vegetation, giving it a mysterious and dreamy atmosphere. After a brief shock, Yi Chen immediately started to move. He had to hurry up and find Chudian now. Not long after Yi Chen left, several students from No. 1 middle school looked at each other and followed him. Yi Chen kept walking through these buildings. When he turned a corner, Yi Chen encountered several fire pigs, all of which were awakened to the 6th or 7th level. There are exactly 8 of them. Killing them all is a lot of points. Yi Chen jumped down directly and landed heavily on the ground, splashing a large amount of dust. Before the fire pigs could react, Yi Chen held Ben Lei and ducked behind the fire pigs. Yi Chen calmly put away his gun, and these fire pigs suddenly fell down heavily, and they were all dead. Each fire pig had only one wound on its body and could be killed with one hit. This scene was completely displayed in a conference room of the Warrior Alliance. This conference room is very large. There are many pictures in front of it, and in each picture there are students taking exams. Each candidate is tracked and filmed by an aircraft, which is then broadcast here. Sitting under the stage were representatives of all forces. Sitting in the first row were people from the Warriors Alliance, Xinwo Alliance, Tianxinwei, Wanyu Pavilion, Military Department, and Reconnaissance Department. Sitting behind them were the principals of each school and representatives of other forces. "Oh, this student is pretty good," the representative of the Xinwo League said while looking at the scene of Yi Chen killing the fiery pig. A middle-aged man in military uniform from the military department also nodded. "The speed is fast enough, and the action is very decisive. Yes, the attacks are also very precise. They all kill with one blow. He should have experience in hunting exotic beasts." The representative from the reconnaissance department also agreed. Zhang Ding sat in the back, feeling very happy watching Yi Chen's outstanding performance. Kai Chen sat next to him, and Zhang Ding said with a proud smile on his face, "Principal Kai, I am a good student. It's a pity that he didn't agree to let you go to No. 1 middle school." However, Kai Chen did not show too many emotions and just responded indifferently. "This has just begun, just a few fire pigs who have awakened to the 6th and 7th levels. Students who can achieve this level are from our number 1 middle school. There are so many that I can't even count them on 2 hands. Then, Kai Chen asked, "Principal Zhang, is it possible that Yi Chen is the only one in your number 2 middle school who can reach such a level? So you are so surprised to see his performance?" Hearing this sentence, Zhang Ding couldn't help snorting, and his face became a little gloomy. "Then let's see who can have the last laugh." Kai Chen nodded. "That's a good thing. I'll give you the same words." After finishing speaking, both of them were silent. Of course, Yi Chen didn't know that his actions had been clearly displayed in front of everyone. Yi Chen looked at the scoring ring and saw a total of 52 points, but of course he gained more than that. He also gained 6 months of training time. Yi Chen glanced at the fiery pig on the ground and licked his lips. "These fire pigs are good ingredients. The meat is delicious and has no fishy smell. Take them all away." Yi Chen put all the real bodies of the fire pigs into the energy storage bracelet. Just when Yi Chen was gathering the fiery pig, an arrow suddenly shot towards Yi Chen. Yi Chen punched him directly and smashed the arrow into pieces. "Have you finally taken action?" Yi Chen smiled, not panicking, as if all this was expected. In fact, Yi Chen noticed someone following him shortly after leaving the portal. When he was in the wild before, Yi Chen often faced surprise attacks from strange beasts. His anti-tracking ability has also been tempered to a certain extent, which can be seen when the 2 people from the other side church followed him. The students in front of them obviously didn't have strong tracking abilities, so naturally they couldn't escape Yi Chen's perception. "HMPH, just pretending." A male student holding a bow and arrow snorted coldly. Then several people walked out of the building, 2 boys with knives, a girl with a sword, and a blindfolded girl standing at the end with a stick. The stick in her hand was not thick, it looked a bit like a guide stick, not like a weapon. Among these people, Only this masked woman made Yi Chen confused. Why didn't I take action when fighting the fire pig? Now I feel confident. Yi Chen looked at the bow-wielding man standing on a high place, and raised the corners of his mouth slightly, but it was indeed a good opportunity just now, but you are a bit inferior. Arrogant. When the man heard what Yi Chen said, he was so angry that he drew his bow and shot at Yi Chen. Yi Chen kept dodging, and one arrow after another hit the ground, exploding small craters. This arrow should be specially made. It can not only reduce air resistance, but also have an explosive effect. After a while, Yi Chen's side was covered by the smoke and there was no movement. The boy who was shooting the arrow did not continue to take action because he couldn't see Yi Chen. In the meeting room of the Warriors Alliance, the military representative frowned slightly. It seems that this lottery method of teleportation cannot avoid this kind of team formation. The representative of the Warrior Alliance is Li Derong. He sighed helplessly. There is no way, no matter how random this situation is, it will still happen. The actual combat assessment originally assessed the individual's actual combat ability, but now their team actions have deviated from the original intention. Representatives of the Xinwo League were also somewhat dissatisfied. According to me, it's better to catch the strange beasts and examine them one by one, or fight the examiner directly. The representative of Wanyu Pavilion is a rugged man who speaks loudly. Li Derong frowned. It's unrealistic. We can't have so many warriors as examiners. You know, the manpower over there is already very scarce. That's true. Currently, this method of simulating the wild is indeed the best. At this time, the representative of Tianxinwei said, currently we have a project to study virtual combat. If the research and development is successful, it will not only save manpower, but the assessment will be more fair, but no one can say when it will be successful. What Tianxinwei is best at is the development of technology, so their words cannot be empty talk. The military representative was a little surprised when he heard what she said. This is a good idea. If it can be successfully studied, it will not only be useful for the college entrance examination, but it should also be of great help in improving combat skills. The best way to improve combat skills is to continue actual combat. If virtual combat is successfully developed, people will not lack combat opportunities in the future. The representative of Tianxinwei nodded. We have to wait until the research is done, but it is a pity for the student in front of us. Everyone also nodded. They didn't think much of Yi Chen who was being beaten. At this time, Zhang Ding's face in the back was so dark that he was about to drip with tears. Principal Zhang, it seems that Yi Chen is unlucky. He might be eliminated directly now. Zhang Ding looked at him angrily. Is this someone from your number 1 middle school? Hey, Principal Zhang, please don't talk nonsense. Even if someone from our No. 1 middle school is met by Yi Chen, it only means that Yi Chen is unlucky. The worst of these people are all at the 9th level of awakening, and there are 2 warrior level among them. Even though Yi Chen's previous test results were very good, he still couldn't withstand the siege of everyone. In Kai Chen's eyes, Yi Chen would definitely lose. The smoke dispersed, and to everyone's surprise, Yi Chen was not inside. Where are the people? The boy with the bow stuck his head out and looked around for Yi Chen. Where are you looking? Suddenly a voice sounded behind him. It was Yi Chen, and he quickly turned around to attack. But Yi Chen didn't give him this chance. He kicked him in the abdomen and kicked him out of the building, hitting him hard on the ground. Yi Chen stood upstairs and looked down at the boy who was lying on the ground vomiting blood, and said softly, "That's it. The number 1 middle school and the Yi family look down on me too much, right?" Then Yi Chen jumped directly from the building, stepped on him with one foot, lowered his head and looked down. "If you don't press the distress button, you will die here." As Yi Chen said this, he increased the strength under his feet. Only then did the others react. However, seeing that there was someone stepping on Yi Chen's feet, they did not dare to take action easily. They saw murderous intent in Yi Chen's eyes. If they took action, Yi Chen would probably trample the opponent to death without hesitation. "Don't kill me, I surrender," the student said hurriedly while vomiting blood, and then pressed the help button without hesitation. Suddenly, a shield appeared on him and bounced Yi Chen away. At this time, he no longer looked at Yi Chen with fear in his eyes, but only with deep hatred. Being eliminated at this time, he might not even have a chance in the most ordinary martial arts school. Oh, This guy is quite interesting. Representatives of several forces in the Warriors Alliance conference room showed admiration. The big man from Wanyu Pavilion said cheerfully, "This boy is very decisive about my appetite." Even the always serious military representative had a rare smile on his face. "It's indeed good. With the help of smoke cover, we can deal with the long-range attacking archers immediately. We have a clear goal and know exactly what we want to do. If we say who is the happiest person here, it is of course Zhang Ding." At this moment, his face was full of smiles. "Hey, I'm so sorry, Principal Kai, Yi Chen was not eliminated, but one of your students was eliminated first." Although Kai Chen felt unhappy, he still had a squinting look on his face. "We just eliminated one person, aren't there 4 more people? Principal Zhang is too happy too early." Zhang Ding also realized that the next siege by those people was the critical moment. He put away his smile and looked at the screen with some worry. "Yi Chen, it won't be easy for you if I eliminate you. The Yi family will not let you go." Yi Chen saw that the person in front of him had been begging for mercy a second ago, but after the shield was deployed, he actually had the courage to threaten him. "Why, are you so confident that this shield can protect you? Are you afraid that I will break this shield?" Yi Chen looked at him with interest. "Ha ha 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 ha, Yi Chen, you really think I have no brains? This shield can block martial arts master level attacks. Don't dare to say such arrogant things just because you thought your sneak attack was successful." Now that he has been eliminated, he is waiting for the staff outside to take him out according to his position. At this time, he naturally has to act tough in front of Yi Chen. "Then give it a try." Yi Chen smiled with a hint of bloodthirsty in his eyes. Yi Chen punched quickly, and his fists fell on the shield like raindrops. The man was stunned at first. He didn't expect that Yi Chen would really take action. He was also a little frightened, and a flash of panic flashed on his face. However, he looked at the unresponsive shield, and his face regained his composure, and continued, "Yi Chen, I didn't expect that although you have some talent, you are actually a fool. You don't even know how much you weigh, and you are still wasting it here. Source energy attack shield. You guys, why don't you take action together and eliminate him?" he said loudly to several people in the distance. Those people just didn't dare to take action because Yi Chen had a hostage in hand. Now that Yi Chen has no one to rely on, they are naturally no longer afraid. Several of them attacked Yi Chen with weapons in hand. At this moment, the shield suddenly vibrated violently, making a clicking sound, and then cracks appeared on the shield. The man in the shield looked at this scene and panicked. "You guys hurry up, come and kill him." As his words fell, the cracks on the shield spread like a spider web. Yi Chen punched it again, and the shield shattered. "Who did you just say you were going to kill?" Yi Chen grabbed his neck and lifted him up in the air. Seeing this, the people in the distance stopped and looked at Yi Chen in horror. The man kept struggling in midair, trying to break free from Yi Chen's hand, but Yi Chen's hands were as powerful as pliers. No matter how hard he struggled, Yi Chen could not move an inch. His face gradually turned blue, and the strength of his struggle became weaker and weaker. When the blindfolded woman saw this, she quickly said, "Yi Chen, don't kill him. If you break his shield and kill him, you are killing someone intentionally. It's not cost-effective. You let him go, let's go, we will never fight against you, just pretend we haven't met him before." Hearing this, Yi Chen also realized that fighting is allowed in the actual combat rules, even if you accidentally kill the opponent. But breaking the shield like Yi Chen and killing the opponent when they have no ability to resist is intentional killing. Although Yi Chen's talent would not sentence him to death, he might still be punished. Yi Chen regretted not killing it at the beginning. In that case, Yi Chen would have missed it instead of intentionally. Yi Chen said softly, "Even if we can't kill him, we still need some punishment." Yi Chen threw it directly towards a wall next to him, smashing through the wall and causing the person to faint inside. "Also, I didn't let him go just because you didn't go against me, so don't even think about leaving. Yi Chen, don't go too far. Just let the 4 of us let you go. Why do you want to keep us?" One of the boys holding a knife said angrily. "Since he doesn't know what is good or bad, there is no need for us to be polite, let's go together." The other woman with a sword raised her eyebrows and took a stance to attack. Yi Chen didn't say anything. Suddenly, Thunder arcs surrounded his feet, and he disappeared in one explosive step. The man holding the long knife shrank his pupils and said, "Defense, he is very fast. Each of us looks in the same direction." The four of them moved little by little, back to back. The blindfolded woman tapped something like his guide stick on the ground. On the left. As he finished speaking, Yi Chen's figure appeared on the left side of the man holding the knife. Yi Chen punched out. At the reminder of the blindfolded woman, the man reacted and hurriedly blocked the punch with his knife, but a trace of blood spilled from the corner of his mouth. It was obvious that this blow was very powerful and he did not completely block it. Yi Chen disappeared again. What Yi Chen used was instant shadow. Although it was only AC level combat skill, it had been trained to the Dacheng level by Yi Chen. Different from the strange movement technique of Kixingbu, the instant shadow mainly increases the speed. Yi Chen also used the instant shadow when he sneak attacked the boy with the bow. Yi Chen's next few attacks were all blocked. Yi Chen was also a little strange. How did she find me? With my speed, they would never be able to react. Every attack of mine was predicted in advance so that they could react. She was blindfolded. Did she hear it? Yi Chen was also a little confused. Yi Chen, your attacks can't penetrate our defenses. We can only continue to stalemate here and waste time. How about we just give up? At this time, the blindfolded woman spoke again, not wanting to fight Yi Chen. Stalemate. Even if my attacks cannot penetrate, they have caused damage to you every time. Can you still resist if I continue to drag on? Yi Chen's voice sounded from everywhere, which showed that Yi Chen was constantly changing positions. The blindfolded woman frowned. The main reason she didn't want to fight was because they were constantly being injured, but they didn't cause any injuries to Yi Chen. If they continued, they would definitely lose. Don't talk to him anymore. Since he refuses to stop, let's fight to the end today to see who can persist to the end. The blindfolded woman whispered. If we defend passively, we will definitely lose. Next, I will point out his position to you, take the initiative to attack, and give it a try. These people were in Yi Chen's eyes, and with his strength, he could quickly eliminate them all with the Thunder Dragon breaking sky strike. But Yi Chen was also curious about how the blindfolded woman found him. On the second floor of the building in front, the blindfolded woman pointed forward with her guide stick. Fire slash. One of the men with a knife was seen waving the knife and slashing there. Suddenly, a flaming sword light bombarded the building, and Yi Chen also walked out of it. You can indeed see me. Yi Chen raised the corner of his mouth slightly and said as he looked at the blindfolded woman in front of him. In this case, the cat and mouse game ends here. Yi Chen took out Ben Lei from his energy storage bracelet and killed the four people. He no longer had the interest to play with them anymore. The spear in his hand kept flashing with purple thunder and lightning as he fought with the four of them. What is worth mentioning is that when Yi Chen was about to attack the blindfolded woman, she suddenly pulled out a thin sword from what looked like a guide stick in her hand. Oh, what is this called? The sword and the stick. Yi Chen was also surprised by her weapon, but this did not cause trouble to Yi Chen. Yi Chen flashed and appeared behind a man like a ghost. He thrust out a spear and pierced his left arm directly. Seeing this, the other three people used their martial arts to stop Yi Chen, but Yi Chen easily dodged them. Yi Chen waved the spear in his hand, and a sharp spear light instantly knocked the three people away and fell heavily to the ground. Is this all you have? You dare to continue the stalemate with me? Yi Chen looked at the three people on the ground with a sneer, a trace of disdain flashing in his eyes. The three of them gritted their teeth and looked at Yi Chen, their hearts filled with anger and unwillingness. They didn't expect Yi Chen to be so powerful and defeat them easily. Yi Chen looked at the blindfolded woman lying on the ground with a joking face, slowly squatted down and said softly, "Let's discuss something. If you tell me how you found me, I will let you go." How about? The blindfolded woman pursed her lips tightly, a trace of stubbornness flashed in her eyes. Impossible. I will never reveal a word. If you lose, you lose. There is nothing to say. The corner of Yi Chen's mouth raised slightly, revealing a playful smile. Oh, you are quite tough, but look at your teammates, they were seriously injured by me, but you, I showed mercy, you just don't you appreciate it at all. The blindfolded woman's face turned red, she hugged herself tightly in a panic and retreated. You, what do you want to do? Yi Chen raised his eyebrows and looked at her with a half smile. You don't think I'm attracted to you, do you? A blush appeared on the blindfolded woman's face, and she glared at him angrily. Who would think so? Yi Chen secretly smiled in his heart. This guy is really cute. But upon closer inspection, she looked very charming with her eyes covered. Bah, 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 what am I thinking about? Yi Chen quickly put aside the distracting thoughts in his mind. Seriously, as long as you tell me, I will not only let you go, but I will also help you score points. Don't you want to consider such a good thing? Yi Chen didn't seriously hurt her. Of course it couldn't be because he fell in love with her. In the previous battle, Yi Chen was sure that she could find him, and it was definitely not something she could see with her eyes. So the question is, how did she discover herself? Most likely it was through perception. If this is the case, wouldn't it be possible for Yi Chen to greatly improve the efficiency of finding strange beasts by taking her with him? After all, there were no alien beasts that could pose a threat to Yi Chen in this examination room. Yi Chen's mission is to hunt more exotic beasts as quickly as possible. Moreover, Yi Chen thought she looked quite pleasing to the eye, much better than her tough-talking and brainless companions. At least, when she discovered that Yi Chen was powerful, she did not launch an attack blindly, but thought about negotiating terms and not becoming his enemy. The blindfolded woman's expression changed, and finally she sighed. Okay, I promise you, but you have to let us go. No, 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 I only promised to let you go, and I didn't say I would let others go. You'd better understand your current situation. You are not qualified to negotiate terms with me. Yi Chen shook his head. He let the blindfolded woman go just because she might still be of some use. He was showing mercy by not killing the others directly. Why are you so domineering? You know how to bully others. As he spoke, Yi Chen saw that the cloth covering her eyes was wet, and she actually cried. Yi Chen was helpless and couldn't stand it even after saying a few words. What is this? I don't have time to talk to you anymore. If you don't want to, just forget it. I'll eliminate you altogether. You can come back next year. Yi Chen said and was about to take action. I do, but don't eliminate me. The blindfolded woman said while sobbing. Martial arts is a race against time, one step at a time. Each step is slow, especially when they are in the period of improving their martial arts. If they delay for 1 year at this time, the road to martial arts may be cut off. It's obvious that she understands the importance. My superpower is B-level bat perception. The cane in my hand is specially made and I can determine the location of others through the sound it makes. No wonder you know where I am every time you tap the cane. How accurate is it? Yi Chen was stunned and asked. Within 13 millimeters. Yi Chen was a little surprised. It's so accurate, but what's the range? About 1 kilometer or so. The range is a bit small. Yi Chen frowned slightly. The blindfolded woman heard Yi Chen's words and said quickly, if you turn it on to the maximum power, it can reach about 3 kilometers. She was afraid that Yi Chen would go back on his word and eliminate her. If Yi Chen had eliminated him directly from the beginning, she might not be so afraid. But Yi Chen gave her hope, and she was very afraid of being eliminated. This is human nature. You shouldn't be able to maintain 3 kilometers for long. Yi Chen saw through it at a glance. There must be conditions for doubling the distance at once. The blindfolded woman nodded somewhat disappointedly. There is too much information and I cannot receive it for a long time. It can only last about 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes is enough. By the way, what's your name? Finally, Yi Chen remembered to ask her name. Yu Mengyan. She lowered her head and said crisply. The fish surname is rare, so let's go. Yi Chen stood up and pulled her up from the ground. By the way, there are things to do before we leave. Yi Chen kindly pressed the help buttons for those lying on the ground, and put them together so that the examiner could pick them up. Yi Chen clapped his hands and said, no need to thank me, I'm just a kind and good person. Yi Chen, it won't be easy for you if you eliminate us today. We are just an abandoned son of the Yi family. When the actual battle is over, we will settle the score with you. The student with the knife actually had the strength to threaten Yi Chen. Oh, really? How about I deal with you here, so that you don't have to cause trouble for me after you get out? Yi Chen gave him a cold look. The man instantly felt his whole body become cold. He had seen Yi Chen smash the shield with his own eyes before, and the murderous intent in Yi Chen's eyes was not concealed at all. The man hurriedly shut up and did not dare to make eye contact with Yi Chen. "Hey, you're a coward, let's go." Yi Chen called Yu Mengyan and left directly. Yu Mengyan quickly followed. After a while, she couldn't bear it anymore. Those people have good family backgrounds. If you are more careful when you go out, they may take revenge on you. Yi Chen was a little surprised that she would tell him this. "It's okay, I still have some backers in Yuling City, and they can't touch me just by themselves." Seeing Yi Chen say this, Yu Mengyan was curious, but didn't say much. In the Warriors Alliance conference room, the burly man from Wanyu Pavilion looked admiring. "This guy is really good." With 1 against 5, he not only defeated them all but also took one away. It's a good trick. The strength is indeed good, but he was a bit ruthless. He really wanted to kill that student just now. The representative of the Xinwo Alliance frowned slightly, seemingly dissatisfied with Yi Chen's actions. This is normal. The purpose of the Xinwo Alliance is to ensure the inheritance of mankind. Naturally, they do not want human beings to fight among themselves. In his opinion, those who Yi Chen eliminated may become members of the protection of mankind. You are just too indecisive. In this situation, why don't you let him not fight back? Those few people want to eliminate him, which is equivalent to hindering his martial arts. He just treated others with his own medicine. Even if he killed those few people, I think it would be nothing. He could defeat several of them by himself. That means you can make up for their share when hunting exotic beasts. That's great, said the big man. The representatives of the military department and the reconnaissance department did not speak. Obviously they also agreed with the big man's words. The representative of the Xinwo Alliance did not continue to argue. At their level, they had killed many strange beasts and many people, so he naturally knew that the big man was right. He just wanted to have both, Yi Chen and those people, but there was no such thing in the world. You couldn't have your cake and eat it too. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.